What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 8 So Chapter 241 Farewell. 2. Please subscribe for full subscription. Chapter 241 Farewell. Conan said clearly, that's okay, it's a worthwhile trip. The task of chasing and killing Mihong can only go so far. As for what he will do in the future, and how to do it, that is resignation, because in terms of the shortcomings of being found in his old nest, Mihong, who has a godhead, will definitely be in the future. Will be more careful, absolutely impossible to find easily. However, before encountering Mihong again, there is only one thing Uchiha Qiye has to do, and that is to keep improving his strength by pretending to be coercive, so that when he encounters Mihong one day in the future, he will be able to fight against him. This road, Uchiha Qiye just wants to walk by himself. He looked at the green mountains and rivers outside and asked, where have we gone? Why is it so different from the land of the land? The land of the land is filled with wind and sand, no grass grows, and there are countless minerals, but here is actually green mountains and green waters, and the weather is good. Nagato looked outside and said, go forward for a distance of 1400 kilometers and you will be the land of water. Water country? According to the positions of Qinglong, Xuanwu, Baihu, and Suzaku, the land of earth belongs to earth and is located at the position of Qinglong, and the country of water belongs to water and is located at the position of Xuanwu. Uchiha Qiye thought to himself that he was going to see if there was any wreckage of the formation left by Mihong in the water state of the Xuanwu position. So Uchiha Qiye said, tomorrow I will rush to the land of water, rest early, I will do the rest of the tasks by myself, and you will go back to Konoha village. Nagato and Conan looked at each other, wondering why Uchiha Qiye was acting alone. Advertisement Uchiha Qiye was afraid of their misunderstanding, so he said, Konoha village is the land of fire, corresponding to the position of Suzaku, you need to go back and check if there is any formation that Mihong secretly left behind. Now they understand that it turned out to be separate actions. Several people lay down and fell asleep one after another, but Uchiha Qiye couldn't sleep at all because he felt that his godhead was very empty. Inayami didn't get it, and Susanoo's strongest weapon, the endless warblade, didn't get it either. What does it mean to have only one godhead? So in the long night, the troubled Uchiha Qiye got out of bed and walked out of the hotel. After arriving at the lake, I saw a bright moon shining on the lake, reflecting my pair of top-level eternal eyes. On one side is the eternal Mangekyo Bloodwheel eye, and on the other is the eternal Rinnegan. This eye that can see through everything in time gives Uchiha Qiye unparalleled insight, as if the whole world is completely under his control. He sat down and gradually entered into meditation. In the state of meditation, time and space stopped. He looked at the movement of the chakra in his body, and the filled chakra had already undergone a qualitative change. Uchiha Qiye could not describe in words how powerful the chakra in his body was. Destructive power. Uchiha Qiye, who has a godhead, still has a long way to go. There are still 30,000 pretending points left. He added all the pretending points to Shanshu. Super Cage level magic chakra plus 30,000 is already 80,000, and there is still 20,000 to break through 100,000. When he reaches 100,000, he will complete the Super Cage level magic, and he will turn his attention to the country of water. The next stop must be to harvest and pretend to be in the country of water. Advertisement. After returning to the hotel, Uchiha Qiye fell into a deep sleep. The next day, the sky was clear, an array of sunlight shone on the three of them, and then they gradually woke up. After going out, I said goodbye. Uchiha Qiye locked his gaze on the land of water, only 100 kilometers away, and he arrived in almost a few minutes. When he was about to get to the door, Uchiha Qiye remembered what kind of identity would be better for himself this time, and at the same time, he was fortunate to have activated the divine enlightenment skills, otherwise everyone here would know about Uchiha Kai's appearance, which would be bad. After thinking about it for a long time, Uchiha Qiye didn't know what identity would be better for him, but when he arrived at the bottom of the Water Kingdom, he suddenly had an idea. Because there are 810 notices posted at the gate of the city, on the notice is a battle arena. This is the annual battle season in the country of water, the winner can get a snow lotus. Uchiha Qiye knew that snow lotus is the only product of fruit, it can improve one's ninjutsu cultivation, and it is the development of the jump stage, which can directly rise from the strength of Genin to Chunin. Therefore, countless ninjas in the country of water have been looking forward to this day, and they are looking forward to a qualitative leap in their ability to use their skills. Uchiha Qiye smiled coldly and arrogantly, then his identity is to come here to make thunder. So he walked to the gate of the city, and the guard glanced at Uchiha Qiye, feeling awkward, and then asked, what do you do? What's your name? Uchiha Qiye said, I came here to strike thunder, and my name is Shenzhen, the god of immortals, and the battle of battle is invincible. The gatekeeper burst out laughing, it's just you, a thin-skinned and tender-skinned person who came over to strike a thunder. You're going to be beaten for such an arrogant name. Chapter 242 It's up to you. 3. Please subscribe for full subscription. Chapter 242 Is it up to you? What Uchiha Qiye wants is this effect, I'm from a fairy country, and I have my own fairy energy to protect myself. I came to teach you what is called martial arts, and I think you don't know what is good or bad. The gatekeeper was tall, and when he saw such a thin and fair man shouting so loudly, he immediately became unhappy. Our country of water welcomes everyone who dares to come to thunder, but someone like you has no hands. The man who binds the chicken is simply humiliating the reputation of our thunder, hurry up. Originally, today was the last day to sign up for the fight, so people from all over the world and all genres came to sign up, so there were a lot of people and it was very lively. When they saw the guard arguing with a little white face, they turned their heads to see what was going on. Uchiha's face sank and said, "You said that I have no power to bind chickens? Well, then you have to talk about what conditions can I apply for?" Uchiha Qiye deliberately amplifies his voice a bit so that more and more people will notice that this wave of pretense will gain more pretense value. The gatekeeper is a rough man who has always had a savage personality. What this arrogant person cherishes most is his face, and the most unacceptable thing is those who block him and pretend to be aggressive. Moreover, it has now become a posture of hundreds of people watching, so this face must not be lost. So the man said, "If you want to sign up, you must be able to lift at least 200 pounds of stones with one hand. If you don't even have the strength, don't come to the arena in the country of water." As he spoke, he pointed to the preparation area. It turned out that he had to pass this basic test to screen qualified thundermen. Otherwise, people who have no strength at all can sign up casually. Isn't it a waste of too much labor cost? Uchiha Qiye said, "What is 200 pounds? I can lift it with my fingers." Advertisement. The big man laughed wildly. "It's just you. Come on, I want to see what you can do." So Dayan walked to the place where he was preparing to sign up, drove away the testers, and said to Uchiha Qiye, "This is a 200-pound stone, but you can hold it up for me to see." As he spoke, he looked around. The number of onlookers was really increasing, and he wished that Uchiha Qiye would not come to the stage. Uchiha Qiye naturally understood what it meant, so he said, "Is this little stone trying to stun me? If I can lift it up, what should I say? If I can't lift it up, what should I say?" The big man snorted coldly, glanced up and down at this Uchiha Qiye and said, "If you can lift it up to prove that you can enter the competition, if you can't lift it up, get out." Uchiha Qiye sneered, and when he lifted 200 jin with just one finger, the big stone seemed as light as a feather in Uchiha Qiye's hand, not worth mentioning at all. It turns out that the country of water used this kind of thing to pass the test. I really despise those of us who came to thunder. Uchiha Qiye's pretense is beginning to pay off. Yo, this little skinny guy looks really strong. 59. When he weighed 200 pounds, he actually played like a ball. It seemed that he really had some skills. When the big man saw this posture, he seemed a little unable to get off the stage, so he said, "You are only qualified. I can lift 500 caddies, can you?" Uchiha Qiye said, "Don't say 500 caddies, even 1000 caddies is nothing more than a feather." Advertisement. The big man walked directly to the number 2 preparatory field, exerted all his strength, blushed, and finally lifted the 500-pound stone. Wow, this guy is amazing. I think he has the ability to fight. A gatekeeper in the country of water can be so strong. It is really a big country, a strong country. Sure enough, someone who is tall and strong has an advantage. Look at his muscles and admire him. Among the praises of the crowd, the big man's self-esteem was greatly satisfied. He glanced arrogantly at this little chicken like Shenzan and said, "This little guy, whose name is Shenzan, can't be crazy like me. I see how capable he is. You don't mean that you can lift it up? Thousands of jins of stones? Don't talk about 1000 jins, just 500 jins, can you do it? 35. Uchiha Qiye ignored him at all. According to the grades of the preparatory station, the final stone was 2000 caddies. He walked around the court, the money got it, to the strongest group and looked at the huge stone. It is 10 meters high and 10 meters wide, and the material is only a special material that can be dragged as heavy as 2000 kilograms. Uchiha Qiye said, "I'm not really interested in those little toys of yours. The heaviest rock in the prep station is a 2000-pound rock. I'll lift the rock directly. You must remember to assign me to the strongest group." Wow, this person is going to challenge the strongest group directly? 2000 pounds of stone? The last time I succeeded in the challenge was Uchiha Sasuke from the Land of Fire 5 years ago. That's something a genius can move. I think this person is just bragging. How is that possible? Chapter 243 stunned everyone. 1. Please subscribe for full subscription. Chapter 243 shocking the crowd. Everyone sighed and didn't believe this guy called God War at all. The big man was even more arrogant. He shouted directly, "Don't pretend to be there. If you can really lift 2000 pounds, I will call your father directly." Uchiha Qiye looked back at the big man. Is this true? The big man nodded. "I can't change my name. I can't change my surname. My name is Lu Jing. If you can really lift 2000 pounds, I'll call your father directly, and then follow your surname." Uchiha Qiye smiled and said, "Okay, this is what you said." There were more and more onlookers, whether they were participating in the preliminaries or the natives of the Land of Water, they all came to watch. Because it has been 5 years, no one has lifted a 2000-pound stone with physical strength alone, and the rule is that chakra can never be used, but even a person who specializes in 810 taijutsu has no such possibility. Only the genius Uchiha Sasuke did it 5 years ago, and no one has been able to do it for so many years. Standing in front of this huge rock, Uchiha Qiye didn't change his face or heartbeat. He didn't even do warm-up exercises. He just stretched out a hand and lifted it up in an instant. Everyone's heartbeat suddenly stopped, and they were all stunned. How is this possible? Does this man have magic powers? How can such a heavy stone look like a feather in his hand? The originally chaotic crowd suddenly became very quiet, and the eyes were dumbfounded. It doesn't stop there. Uchiha Qiye kept weighing the boulder in his hands, and kicked it with his feet, as skilled as a ball, but still made a loud noise, forming a strong contrast, as if he was constantly reminding people, this man is playing with 2000 caddies of things casually, and he has no effort at all. Advertisement. Finally, Uchiha Qiye got tired of playing and kicked the 2,000-pound stone with a bang. In an instant, the stone was torn apart, the debris splashed, and turned into dust directly in the sky. So powerful, so terrifying. Uchiha Qiye turned his head to look at the stunned big man, and shrugged his shoulders casually. After being silent for a long time, everyone around burst into a violent exclamation. God, who is this? Is this a person? 35. I can testify that he absolutely did not use chakra, the muscle power that this man called God War relies on. 35. This year's Nation of Water Arena is absolutely exciting. So strong, I don't think I hope to win the championship again. Uchiha Qiye glanced at the big man named Lu Jing with arrogant eyes, and said, you should fulfill your promise. Insolent big men like Lu Jing, the most disdainful are those who like to pretend to be forceful, and the most admired is naturally the strong. They have a natural desire to follow the strong, and they only surrender to the strong. With a thud, Lu Jing, who was still unable to pull BECJ just now, immediately knelt down and shouted in a trembling voice, Dad. Uchiha Qiye smiled contentedly. Well, no, then you should change your surname. What will your name be in the future? Flowing through his mind, the name of this godlike man in front of him is Shenzhen, so he can only be named Shen. From now on, I'll be called Nerve. As soon as he said this, the people around him burst into laughter. Advertisement, ding. Pretend point increased by 9,999. Uchiha Qiye is very satisfied. After pretending to be forceful, he has to increase the point of pretending to be forceful. Isn't life happy? In this way, Uchiha Qiye stared at the vest of the Battle of God and became the first echelon candidate in the audition. However, at this time, in the Shadow Ninja office of the Land of Water, Mizukage Terumi Mei stood upstairs and looked down at everything that happened downstairs. She saw with her own eyes a contestant kicked a 2,000-pound stone as a ball. You must know that Uchiha Sasuke from Konoha village 5 years ago, this genius boy, has just moved with all his strength. And this little-known Battle of Gods, although it seems to be much older than Uchiha Sasuke at the beginning, but the strength shown is simply shocking. I haven't seen such a strong person in many years, but Terumi Mei doesn't like his personality very much, and pretends to be very forceful. Dong dong dong, a knock on the door rang. Terumi Mei looked back and said, come in. With a squeak, the door opened in response, and the oncoming person was Jonin, a famous person from the Land of Water. With a handsome face, clear eyes, and outstanding ninjutsu, he is known as Terumi Mei's #1 diehard. It is rumored that Taudi is in love with Terumi Mei, but he will never confess. The reason is that he knows that his identity is not worthy of Terumi Mei, so he doesn't say it at all, but all his performances and actions are expressing his love for her, and his style is not obvious, and it does not discuss Terumi Mei. The second is that his strength is not comparable to Terumi Mei, so this feeling of inferiority reminds him all the time. You do not deserve. Why are you here? Is the mission going well? Chapter 244 Mizukage Terumi Mei open black lens bracket 2 close black lens bracket open black lens bracket please subscribe for full order close black lens bracket. Chapter 244 Mizukage Terumi Mei is used to wearing fiery red clothes, even her hair is red, and her delicate red dust does not even need to be smeared, giving people a different kind of fiery style. With a graceful figure, looking forward to brilliance, the first beauty in the country of water is this water ninja. Taudi Zebujan's eyes were still filled with admiration and even admiration, but he didn't reveal it, and after a slight salute, he said, it's just a few spearheaded thieves who have already taken them all down. Terumi Mei nodded with satisfaction and said, very good, I knew there would be absolutely no problem in entrusting the task to you, minus. So Terumi Mei turned back and continued to observe the man called Shenzhen downstairs, making an abacus in his heart, even a very curious psychology. She said, the peach land will not be cut again, have you noticed the Battle of Gods? Taudi walked over without cutting it again, stood side by side with Terumi Mei, and stared at the little white face below who looked beautiful and fair-skinned, arrogant. He said, I noticed that people in the whole village were watching him just now, and he lifted a 2,000-pound stone with ease, but he didn't know his age yet, and if he was over 25, it wouldn't be a big deal. When I say this, I feel sour when I hear it. Terumi Mei said, do you think this person can win our ring this time? Taudi Zebujan shook his head, this person is obviously a practitioner of taijutsu. If he practiced illusions and other things, he would not be able to have such great strength. In our ninja world, taijutsu is the most inferior. In the competition, he is definitely not the opponent of those masters, so he just showed his strengths. Advertisement hearing Taudi Zebujan's analysis, Terumi Mei nodded, thinking that what he said was very reasonable. This is indeed the case. People who specialize in physical training have no chakra themselves, and rely entirely on the explosive power of their muscles. They are doing extremely harsh physical training every day, and it is really not difficult to be able to easily face a 2,000-pound stone. And Uchiha Sasuke, who successfully challenged back then, was not a person who cultivated the body at all, so there is indeed no comparison. After thinking about it like this, it seems that Terumi Mei really has no interest in this Battle of Gods. So I turned my head, and after I closed the curtains, I dealt with my own affairs with peace of mind. Those groups were divided into 3, 6, 9, and so on, and the Battle of Gods naturally belonged to the first echelon. Over the years, there have been the most champions from the first echelon, of. The Land of Water carries out such projects every year. It is also a very good diplomatic means for them to attract talents with their own country's special product, Snow Lotus. Today, the land of water even has the strength to fight the land of fire. Because they have a group of 7 people who are proud of the ninja swords. The leader of this kind is Touty. If they get together and act together, they can look down on thousands of troops. As the ninja of the water country, Terumi Mei has blood sacrifice boundaries and strong strength. Chunin from many countries has changed his nationality and came to play in the water country. Terumi Mei handed over all the preparations to Momoji after grouping them. You distribute the project to the people below and organize it well. After Touty Zabuzan took it over, he said reverently, okay, I am willing to serve you. Katakana middle dot flowers katakana middle dot. After speaking, he went out. Advertisement. In fact, as Terumi Mei, a woman with a delicate mind, of course she knows the intention of not cutting Touty again, but she has always been reluctant to break it, because this hazy feeling and distance is exactly what she needs. Once it is pierced, I am afraid it will break his heart. Uchiha Qiye, who had entered the country of water at this time, carefully observed the country, because he wanted to find out whether Mihong had kept ritual stones in the country of water, so he tried to expand his horizons. The land of water is vast and rich in products. Because it is immersed in the mist all the year round, the crops grow in a good environment. Point 0 In addition, there are frequent light rains, so the aquatic products are also very rich, causing the country to have a good weather and a very rich scene. At this time, the ring is about to start. A group of people gathered around the ring, which was a purpose-built ring with a history of 50 years. The venue is very wide, about 10,000 square meters, and there is a water screen all year round, which is a screen built by Terumi Mei of the Land of Water with his own water spells. The audience from afar can see everything in the venue clearly, so the atmosphere will be stronger. Uchiha Qiye was very excited when he saw this battle. My dear, this is the feeling that the ordinary people of the Land of Water have all gathered together, and there are many audiences from other countries. There are snacks, melon seeds, and messy snacks. Everything is available. The huge water screen also allowed the audience to see every move clearly, which made Uchiha Qiye happy. Because this is simply too suitable for pretending, as long as you do it well. Chapter 245 Arrogant Pretend. Chapter 245 Arrogant Pretend. It is bound to be able to harvest wave after wave of pretending value, which can be used to improve one's own cultivation. Uchiha Qiye walked slowly along with hundreds of competitors, leading them into a guy who seemed to have some strength. When he reached the gate of the back door of the arena, this guy stood there, looked back and said, my name is Yugo, and I am Jonin, the Land of Water. You must all listen to me and obey the discipline when you come here. 5. Uchiha Qiye glanced at his eyes, and found that this Yu Gao was really different. This man's thin-skinned and tender meat. 810. Looked a bit y, but rather gentle. But the feeling of his speech made Uchiha Qiye very unhappy. He was just pretending to be forceful. As for the originator of pretending to be forceful, he was himself. Uchiha Qiye asked, excuse me, what are the rules? Just as Yu Gao was about to lead them in, he saw someone asking such a question, so he raised his eyes to look at the players in the third group, and they looked a little familiar. Thinking back a little, isn't this the gifted player who casually played with 2,000 pounds of rocks? The eye contact between the strong can always collide with a lot of stories. Yu Gao said, the rules are very simple. Here, I am the rules. You can do whatever I ask you to do. Don't think that it is an amazing thing that you can play with small stones. 39. Uchiha Qiye knows that this feather is really different and has arrogant capital. That is because the feather is the 6 tails Jinchuriki of the Land of Water. Advertisement as a country, Jinchuriki naturally felt that he was different from a young age. One person was more than 10,000 people, because they were the country's lore weapons and cutting-edge black technology. Uchiha Qiye will definitely seize every opportunity he can, he said. Hey, you have to make it clear, we are participating in the competition, not here to listen to your reprimands. What do you think you are? You are worthy of talking to me like that. 99. As soon as these words came out, everyone looked at Uchiha Qiye blankly. They whispered, my god, why is this man called Shenzan so fierce? He must not know that this man is Yu Gao, the top Jonin of the Water Kingdom. So he is Yugo, my god, 6 tails Jinchuriki. As people discussed, those who didn't know the truth at first finally realized that the man in front of them was the legendary Jinchuriki. How many people dreamed of seeing each other, but now he is standing in front of them. Of course, Yu Gao also heard the praise of these people, and his self-esteem was greatly satisfied, and he enjoyed this feeling very much. So his attitude became even more arrogant, and he said to Uchiha Qiye, Shenzan, I know you, don't think that you have great ability to play with small stones. Do you think I am not worthy? Let me tell you, I have the right to expel you directly. 5. Hearing this, Uchiha Qiye sneered directly. What did I think? It turned out to be just a permission dog. Yu Gao was really provoked this time. He pointed at Uchiha Qiye, and his angry expression directly mobilized chakra in his body. Advertisement a terrifying force has not yet occurred, and it has brought extremely strong pressure to all the participating ninjas around, as if the earth will shake the mountain in the next second. Many people who are not strong have avoided them, for fear that Chiyu will be affected. They are just here to fight in the arena, but they don't want their own lives. Uchiha Qiye still looked like a fool, completely ignoring the anger of this man named Yu Gao. Yu Gao was about to activate his ninjutsu when suddenly a shadow appeared directly in front of him. Originally, Yugo and Uchiha Qiye were about to have an off-field fight, but at this moment, a man organized it. The man suddenly held the hand that the feathers were about to seal. If a fight really happened, it would be too bad for the reputation of the country of water. The man said, don't do it here. When he finishes the ring, what do you want to do? Uchiha Qiye looked up and saw that this man was somewhat heroic and had extraordinary strength. Of course, in his eyes, he was just an ant. The man turned his head to look at Uchiha Qiye and said, 2.9, my name is Taudi Zebuwan, and I am the main planner and manager of this arena. If something unpleasant happened just now, I hope everyone can forget it. Uchiha Qiye doesn't care about this. As long as he is arrogant with him, he will make people understand that being arrogant in front of him will cost a price. So Uchiha Qiye said arrogantly, I am invincible in battle, and when I win the championship, I will compete with this man named Yu Gao. Feather snorted coldly, I hope you survive. Who knows, the appearance of Taudi Zebujian made these contestants feel like they were fried. Chapter 246, 1. Please subscribe for full subscription. Chapter 246, wow, he is the famous Taudi Zai Zan, 35. The leader of the 7 ninja swordsmen. The strength is comparable to the level of Shadow Ninja. I finally saw a real person this time, and coming to the land of water is really rewarding, 35. Hearing the whispers of these people, it could even be said that they were discussing loudly. Uchiha Qiye understood. This group of ignorant guys came here to gain insight. At the same time, I knew that this man was the long-rumored leader of the 7 ninja swordsmen. He did have some skills. It would take 3 or 4 Jonin of average strength to just tie him. But obviously this man is very gloomy, thoughtful, calm and reserved. Uchiha Qiye can't hate such a person. So looking at this man's face, the arrogant Yu Gao was not abandoned for the time being. Uchiha Qiye said, HMPH, for the sake of not slashing the Peachland, I will keep you for now, but don't prepare to run away, I will fight against everything here. As soon as these words came out, even Chungfushen, the steady Taudi couldn't bear it any longer. He frowned, staring at this divine battle of unknown origin, speaking so arrogantly and brazenly mentioning everything about the country of water, he simply ignored the country of water at all. Now that the words have risen to this level, Taudi doesn't want to endure it any longer. He said, Shen Zan, you are responsible for what you just said. Advertisement Taudi Zebushin's tone was gloomy, and his eyes also revealed a chilling seriousness. If it wasn't for the discipline and reputation of the Water Kingdom, he would have taken out a big sword and cut this battle of gods into pieces. Let this arrogant boy know that there are people outside the sky. Uchiha Qiye snorted coldly and said, God Zan, will single out everything here. This is the proof of heaven and earth. This level of speech is not an emotional speech at all, but a unilateral attack on the country of water. Hundreds of contestants around looked at this man called Shen Zan in amazement, and were so nervous that they didn't dare to breathe. Does he know what he's talking about? I think he is sober. Maybe this god war has some hatred for the land of water? My god, is the battle of the gods here to compete or to smash the field? It should be here to smash the game. Let's wait and see if he has the strength. A group of people are whispering, this level of pretense is not casual at all, but has risen to the height of war. Ding. The force value is increased by 1000 points. Uchiha Qiye is quite satisfied. 100 people get 1000 points, then if his estimate is correct, the audience outside is tens of thousands, and he can get a lot of pretend points as long as he pretends well. Immortal skills are fully upgraded to the highest level is really just around the corner. Uchiha Qiye said, I am responsible for what I say, do whatever work you have to do, 35. This tone, as if a high-ranking figure was giving orders to 2 top-level Jonins who had a very high reputation in the land of water. Advertisement Yu Gao's hands were trembling, and he was obviously out of anger. If a contestant is killed directly before the game, no matter how the reputation spreads, other countries will laugh at it. The one who was also suppressing his anger was that Taudi would not slash again. He had silently swore in his heart that as long as the game was over, it would immediately end the life of this man called Divine War. Taudi Zai Yuzan said, okay, if you have the seeds, after the game is over, I will be the first to fight with you in a duel of life and death. My god, duel of life and death, this is really a good show to watch. I am not only fortunate to see Taudi Zebuji, but also to see him fight to the death with others. This time is really worth it. Everyone's eyes lit up, especially looking forward to the 810 appearances of the Battle of Gods in the game, and at the same time looking forward to the story that will happen after the end. Presumably this session will be of great significance, and the history will be remembered. Uchiha Qiye smiled lightly, I'm happy to accompany you. Besides, whether it's a one-on-one fight or a fight together, I will never refuse anyone who comes to fight. Uchiha Kai's acting ability has reached the realm of Zochin. The two no longer wanted to talk nonsense with him, but turned their attention to all the contestants, and Taudi said without cutting, everyone, come in with me. A group of contestants walked into the contestants' lounge in a mighty manner. As soon as they entered the lounge, they heard the shouts of the audience outside. They were all eager to close this wonderful game. Uchiha Qiye sat in his own seat and looked up at the outside. The seats were indeed full, but since there were at least 10,000 people, there were definitely not enough seats, so there were still many people standing. Even it was overcrowded, and there were many people sitting on the outside wall, because it was late and there was no seat. Chapter 247 The Man Who Descended from Heaven. 2. Please subscribe for full subscription. Chapter 247 Uchiha Qiye watched the preliminaries stretch their bodies nervously and wait for the next battle. Because the teams were divided into different groups, the venues for these players to prepare for the competition were also different. The group that Uchiha Qiye is in is the highest group, so his field is naturally the most central. As the outcry grew louder, the game got closer. The host wore a big bag and said to everyone with a microphone in his hand, the game starts. The audience's voice reached its peak in an instant, and they were all waiting for people to enter the arena. The competition inside came out, and some star players got the maddening voices of many girls as soon as they appeared, and these people were naturally the favorites to win the championship. There are genius ninjas from the country of water, as well as physique supermen from the country of wind. Among these people, Long and Phoenix are naturally the best in the future ninja world, so these people have a sense of arrogance themselves. The last one to appear after them was Uchiha Qiye, the young man who caused a small-scale sensation in the land of water, and got different effects as soon as he appeared. The crowd cheered with screams when welcoming the star players, and when Uchiha Qiye came on stage, the whole stadium became a little quiet. The host, who was used to the lively scene, suddenly saw that everyone present was Shizune, and he was instantly stunned and didn't know what happened. Advertisement. All I could hear was the murmur of the crowd outside. Did you know that this young man called Shen Zan actually lifted a 2,000-pound stone with one hand? I heard about it too, but he didn't reveal which country he was from, and he never heard of his name. Isn't it just lifting the boulder with bare hands? It is possible for people who specialize in body techniques to reach this level. All of a sudden, people said anything, but they were all very interested in this mysterious young man called God War. The host must maintain the enthusiasm of the scene, and his duty is to drive the atmosphere of the scene. The annual water country fighting competition has begun, and there can only be one winner, who will get the special snow lotus of our water country. Now the contestants go to their respective arenas and compete in a knockout system. After the supporter gave an order, Uchiha Qiye also followed the team in the front row into the competition scene. The team he was in was naturally the strongest and most promising group among the contestants. Are some star players. People started the game, but Uchiha Qiye was drawn to the second round and could only sit and watch these people play the previous round. Uchiha Qiye thought to himself, this is just right. He sat in the seat of the audience, silently closed his eyes, and wanted to use his own godhead to examine the strange atmosphere of the whole country of rain. Advertisement. The country is foggy and visibility is usually low, so streetlights are often turned on both day and night. Uchiha Qiye, who has a godhead, has obtained the fusion of two eternal eyes. It is still very easy to find something. He does not need to move his body and starts to see through the surrounding dynamic world. It can even zoom and speed up. These don't need to consume chakra, it is just an instinct. Uchiha Qiye is slowly getting acquainted with these supreme eyes. As the Eye of Eternity gradually penetrated the entire country of water, he suddenly found that a strange chakra was exuding in a corner of the southeast, and the chakra complemented the four corners of the south, and northwest, so it was a combination of forces. But because the fog was too heavy, it was banned, so I couldn't see what was inside at all. Only then did Uchiha Qiye slowly open his eyes, and at the same time he made up his mind that after the game was over, he must go to that place to find out. It is Terumi Mei who is standing above watching the competition. This beautiful woman with outstanding temperament will carefully observe the players in the competition at this time of year, because there will always be top talents emerging. As the talent pool of the land of water, she is to choose the drag carefully. When she encounters the genius she is very fond of, she will not even sacrifice a lot of money to keep this person for the country of water. Whether it is a high, money, official or a house, as long as the other party wants it, as long as she has it, then everything will be arranged properly for them. I remember that many years ago, Konoha village went to Uchiha Sasuke, a talented boy, who single-handedly singled out all the contestants, and has since become famous in the whole ninja world. At that time, Terumi Mei deeply admired Uchiha Sasuke, and even promised him the highest position of Minister Anbu. As long as he stayed in the land of water, he could have whatever he wanted, everything he wanted. But Uchiha Sasuke has revenge in his heart, and has no interest in the enjoyment of the material world at all. Instead, he thinks Terumi Mei is humiliating him, so he resolutely returns to Konoha village. Chapter 248. You can rest assured when I do things. 3. Please subscribe for full subscription. Chapter 248. Don't worry about me doing things standing beside Terumi Mei. It is natural that Taudi will not cut again. He is always carrying a big knife behind him, and his face is cold and serious. Momoji Zebujan told Terumi Mei everything Shenzan said and the arrogance he showed. So he said in a low voice, Kinto Ninja, I request that after the game is over, I will cut him down with my own hands, regardless of whether this man called God War is alive or dead, whether he is injured or not. 35. Terumi Mei focused her beautiful eyes on Shenzan's body, and she said lightly, you mean that young man with a thin back and looking weak? No matter how you look at it, Terumi Mei can't superimpose the image of the Battle of Gods in an arrogant and powerful character. Taudi nodded again and said, yes, this kid is very arrogant. He said that he wants to single out everyone in our country of water. Isn't this a unilateral declaration of war on our country of water? Terumi Mei, as a shadow ninja, naturally has a clear sense of the overall situation. So far, she only thinks that this 810-year-old young man called God War is just a little guy who makes a big deal. The only thing he is afraid of is that he might send a special agent for some country, smash the field. So Terumi Mei asked, which country does this battle of gods come from, and what are the details? Taudi Zai Yuzan responded, he didn't reveal where he came from at all, he just said that he was a wanderer with no family and no sect. 35. Terumi Mei sneered, but he lifted a 2,000-pound boulder with one hand. He was really an uninformed fellow. So he said, then let him go, he will be the result after the game, but remember that it must not happen in the country of water, and the appearance of death should not leave any handle about the country of water. Terumi Mei has always been careful, and will never leave any clues to others easily. This is also for the sake of the prestige of the country of water. If it is spread by people, they will assassinate BECJ contestants who run over, and then talented people will never dare to come here easily. Advertisement Touty Zaizan said with satisfaction, yes, you can rest assured when I do things. The screen returned to the scene of the game, because Uchiha Qiye had already observed where the strange thing was, so he opened his eyes to observe the scene of the game. Uchiha Qiye wasn't in the mood to watch the games at other venues, it was just a child playing house. Only the venue where he was located was somewhat interesting, and there were indeed some young talents in it. The one who is currently fighting is Gili, the strongest physique youth from the Land of Wind, who is facing off against Yun Zhongwu, a talented young man from the Land of Water. Yun Zhongwu is a handsome young man. This man has a refined feeling in both image and temperament, so he is very popular among women. Whether he is the same age as him or the level of young women and grandmothers, all likes dancing in the cloud. This young man with some high reputation in the country of water just got into a fight, and people cheered one after another. Dance in the cloud is great, brother is too powerful, brother marry me. On the other hand, Gili looks rough and naturally unpleasant, but his movement and momentum are very brave, and naturally he also has a large number of loyal fans. Gili's moves are ferocious and the speed is as fast as lightning, while the dance in the cloud is a master of water spells. No matter how powerful the attack is, it may give Gili a deadly attack with softness. And Gili hesitated very fast and was able to completely resist Yun Zhongwu's attack. The two of you come and go, and they seem to be fighting evenly. Advertisement finally, the dance in the cloud performed her own housekeeping stunt, water style, dance in the cloud. Suddenly, the sky fog condensed, and Yun Zhongwu himself became a little unreal. He merged into the fog, and suddenly the water spread, and suddenly rushed towards Gili. The water changed its form in the air, forming a faucet, a mighty hockey who looked incomparable. Gili also knows that this trick is very important, he must not take it lightly, and he also uses his most powerful skills. Thunder Tiger. Gili put on a tiger-like stance, and the whole body was surrounded by a red and fierce aura. This is the highest attainments in physical art. Only by burning the chakra all over the body at an extremely fast speed, can he show that red vigorous energy. One dragon and one tiger, who will compete with each other. This time it was a head-to-head match of strength, and it all depends on who has the strongest technique and the most reliable foundation. The two slammed into each other with a bang, and for a while, the tiger roared and the dragon roared, making a very strong sound. Such an explosive power made all the audience cheered, because it was so exciting. Even the contestants in the low-level arena stopped their movements and waited with bated breath to see who would win among these two best geniuses. Although there are many talents, the two of them are the favorites to win the championship with the strongest voice. With the end of the blasting energy bombardment, Gili has completely fallen to the ground, vomiting blood in his mouth. Advertisement Chapter 249 The Realm of Pretending. 1. Please subscribe for full order. Chapter 249 The Realm of Pretending and Yun Zhongwu also fell to the ground, but there was hardly a piece of good flesh on her body, and her expression was extremely painful. People fell into a brief silence, because intuitively, the two people tended to be injured similarly. Whoever gets up first will naturally be the winner. After a short silence, the fans of Wu Zhongwu shouted frantically outside the venue, "Dance in the cloud, come on! Dance in the cloud, stand up!" And Gili's fans are obviously much less than Yun Zhongwu, but a small number of people are shouting Gili's name loudly. Uchiha Qiye looked at the whole process and had to admit that being able to reach such a level at their age was considered a feather in the sky. But there is still no way to compare with himself, as long as he pretends to be forceful, his strength will grow up as violently as if he were open and hung up. This may be a voice-controlled game. The two slowly crawled on their bodies, and finally stood up at the same time. The referee standing in the middle of the game is helpless, and standing up at the same time can only be judged as a draw, because it is impossible for them to continue fighting. The rules of the game in the country of water are that death must never occur. Although injuries are inevitable, the referee has responsibility cannot kill them. So the referee walked over, looked at the two out of breath, picked up their arms at the same time, and announced, "This game, the two are tied, and the outcome will be decided in the next round, 39. This ending may be the best ending for both of them, because there is really no winner. But Uchiha Qiye understands that, in fact, the dance in the cloud is better, it must be the blow of chakra water style, and the power has reached the internal organs of auspiciousness. The damage Yun Zhongwu suffered was a skin injury on the surface. If he continued to fight, Gili would not be able to run his own chakra at all, and Yun Zhongwu would naturally win in the end. Advertisement This is an important reason why few people in the ninja world practice taijutsu, but all practice ninjutsu. One is the outside, the other is the inside. In all respects, ninjutsu occupies a natural superiority. After both of them went down, Uchiha Qiye saw that Jonin, the top medical doctor in the Land of Water, was quickly treating their injuries, and he believed that they would be healed within half an hour. The referee looked at the match cards in his hand, the next game, the duel between the Rook God and the Hyacinth of the Land of Winds. This time, it was finally Divine War's turn to play, and Uchiha was delighted in his heart. As long as he played, he would kill everything in seconds. As the name of Shenzhen was read out, people turned their attention to the figure of Shenzhen. Now I can finally see the true strength of this person. As soon as Shenzhen hears this name, he is a practitioner of physical arts, and he won't have any great prospects. Let the Hyacinth beat his A*, and look at his pretentious appearance, it's annoying to people. There was a lot of discussion, and Uchiha Qiye walked into the ring leisurely, and his appearance made everyone present cast a curious look. And against Uchiha Qiye is the Hyacinth of the Land of Wind. The young man who applied the wind attribute chakra to ultimate also enjoys a high reputation in the Land of Wind. Arrogant, he thinks that he can be invincible in the same level of battle, so he always looks at people with his nostrils. There are still many fans of Hyacinth because after all, the strength is there, and it is definitely the object of fanatical worship by the little girls. Katakana middle dot seeking flowers advertisement. Wow, Hyacinth is so handsome. Let Hyacinth teach that God war lesson. I don't think he is pleasing to the eye. 35. The Hyacinth is invincible, and whoever he fights will win. 35. Although these voices are not loud, one by one Uchiha Qiye is still very unhappy when he hears them, and his heart is a little depressed. He is a godlike player who abuses them like a rookie. How could he be despised by others? But this is also good. If it is not despised, there is no chance to even pretend. Point 0. After standing on the ring, Uchiha Qiye looked at the Hyacinth in front of him calmly with a pair of phoenix eyes. However, Hyacinth's face was even more arrogant. He was dressed in white and dressed himself up as a scholar, looking handsome and comfortable. Hyacinth said to Uchiha Qiye, "You are the god of war. Do you think it's a great thing to lift a stone with one hand? Now I'm going to take a good fight against your arrogance." Uchiha Qiye sneered, "It's just a kid, and he dares to speak rudely to me. Don't scare you into peeing your pants." Obviously, the smell of fire and smoke in the live battle was extremely strong, and people realized that this would definitely be a very good-looking showdown. Terumi Mei, who was standing above, looked at the battle of gods with beautiful eyes and muttered, "I want to see how capable he is." Taudi, who had been with Terumi Mei all the time, snorted coldly, "I hope he doesn't die, otherwise I won't have the chance to hack him to death myself." The referee stood in the middle, raised his hands, and immediately announced, "The game begins." 2. Chapter 250 High-End Force. 2. Please subscribe for full order. Chapter 250 Hyacinth's whole body was filled with a breath of wind. He looked at the battle of gods with cold and arrogant eyes. The wind in his hand almost materialized, and he threw it towards Uchiha Qiye at a very fast speed. This ability to directly turn the wind around him into a hand knife is Hyacinth's housekeeping ability, which shows that he has fully grasped the essence of wind. The action is elegant and fast, and it is quite beautiful. However, in Uchiha Kai's eyes, all this was just a trick. He didn't dodge or dodge at all. He just raised a finger and threw the wind knife at the Hyacinth, and if he moved it casually, the wind knife exploded in an instant. 810. 1, 2, 3. Uchiha Kai's movements were extremely fast, seemingly effortless, and cracked all of Hyacinth's hand knives one by one. Sure enough, it is a master. Hyacinth's hand knife is a unique skill, and this battle of gods can be caught all without any effort. So he is just a master of physique, but he does this by virtue of his physical strength. The layman is watching the doorway, the expert is watching the excitement, and he is shocked to be a Hyacinth. Because this is not something that can be done by strong physical skills at all. The wind knife uses the surrounding wind to condense the chakra attack, which is 100 times sharper than the physical sharp knife. But Shen Zan actually blasted the wind knife directly with his own fingers, proving that Shen Zan is not only a practitioner of individual jutsu, but also a strong ninjutsu. Because only a strong ninjutsu can condense chakra on his fingertips, thus resisting the opponent's ninjutsu attack. Advertisement: he can peel it off easily, and he can also explain that the density of the chakra condensed between the fingers of the battle of god must be much higher than the wind knife thrown by the Hyacinth, otherwise it is impossible to directly explode the wind knife. Hyacinth frowned slightly and said, "It seems that you still have 2 brushes." Uchiha Qiye shrugged his shoulders, "It's just some small tricks. I advise you to leave the game quickly. 10 You are not my opponent at all, standing here just waiting to die." Hyacinth has always been arrogant, and this time, when he encountered a god war that was even more arrogant than him, his heart was filled with anger. "God battle, don't be mad at this madman." The Hyacinth roared angrily, and the whole body was filled with a strong wind, and suddenly the sand and stones flew in the arena, and the wind that was almost visible to the naked eye lingered around the Hyacinth, and finally condensed in the palm of the hand. Wind style, Feng Ling Po. This level of ninjutsu is much more powerful than the tentative wind knife just now. An extremely strong storm rushed directly towards Uchiha Qiye. However, Uchiha Qiye didn't dodge or dodge at all. He raised his palms too casually to catch the wind-like attack with ease. However, Feng Ling wasn't broken at all. Maybe it wasn't broken, or maybe Uchiha Qiye was still playing. The wind was like a ball in Uchiha Kai's hand, rising as his palm rose, falling and falling, constantly weighing it in his hand. Uchiha Qiye said, "What kind of trick is this? Why is there no power at all?" Seeing this, all the audience were stunned. The offensive wind was like a rainbow, and its destructive power was extremely strong. How could it suddenly slump when it encountered the battle of God, and it directly became a small toy in the hands of God? Advertisement in the next scene, Uchiha Qiye tapped lightly with the other hand. With a snap, Uchiha was instantly blown away by that powerful wind, turning into waves of wind blowing through Uchiha Kai's hair. Of course, Hyacinth knew that there must be someone who could resist his wind lingpo, or use a stronger chakra to break it up directly, or hurriedly avoid it, but playing with such a childish attitude like a battle of gods, have never seen. This is more than humiliation, it is simply contempt. Hyacinth roared, "How dare you look down on me so much?" Uchiha Qiye said, "Do you know how to use wind style? Then I'll show you what a real wind style is." This means that Uchiha Qiye also has the wind attribute chakra. Is he a character who practices ninjutsu, not a taijutsu? The pretentious Uchiha Qiye sealed the seal at an extremely fast speed, less than half a second. Everyone was instantly stunned by this scene. But the surprise is still to come. Wind style, Funlipo. The wind 2.9 and faster force in Uchiha Kai's hand are spinning, and the clothes of the people within 100 meters are about to be sucked by the wind. How strong is this wind? Because the wind has reached a superb level, since the friction between the air has sparked, and because of the continuous friction of the wind, it shows the mentality of thunder and lightning. The wind in the hands of Shen Zan is both wind and thunder, so the wind style has been brought to the extreme, and Hyacinth has only been seen from Feng Ying. This, my god, it's incredible. It turns out that Shen Zan is not only a strong individual, but also a master of wind style. Chapter 251 The Profound Truth of Wind Style. 3. Please subscribe for full order. Chapter 251 Wind Style Profound Truth. The crowd below was amazed. The atmosphere of the entire venue became lively because of the Battle of the Gods, and the games in other venues became eclipsed, and they even felt that their games with each other had lost their meaning, because the games in the high-end venues were almost impossible. So surprising. Uchiha Kai's wind style Funlipo charged directly at the Hyacinth at lightning speed, and the unparalleled power directly overshadowed the Hyacinth's frightened face. He even forgot how to defend for a while, and stood there dumbfounded. Boom! Funlipo suddenly stopped in front of Hyacinth, and made a huge sound of collision with the air, which was the sound of an explosion hitting the air. Of course Uchiha Qiye didn't want to kill. If he hit the Hyacinth directly, the latter would be wiped out. But 14 is that this powerful power still creates a strong stamina. The strong wind has some strong stamina. The strong wind blows directly to the Hyacinth, and the buzzing sound is endless. It was just this Yue that kept Hyacinth backwards, and Hyacinth lost all of her strength to use her chakra to fight against this residual force. After taking about 7 or 8 steps back, he finally eased down on his figure. Advertisement. But all the clothes on Hyacinth's body have turned into rags, with many holes, and the originally free and unruly hair has also become a chicken coop. Uchiha Qiye let out a faint laugh. At this time it was perfect to pretend. It's just wind style. Even your wind ninja might not know the profound meaning of wind style better than me. 55. Ding. Pretend points increased by 9,999. The audience immediately became very interested in this man called Shen Zan, and even felt that this man was very mysterious. Because God Zan had a handsome face in the first place, but his scholar-like temperament had a handsome face like a knife and axe. In terms of appearance, it was already attractive enough. Coupled with this invincible power, it was simply became a star on the spot. So the pretending points suddenly started to increase sharply. The discussion in the audience became heated, and everyone was speculating about the origin of this battle of gods, and it seemed that the man directly crushed the Hyacinth without much effort, and he was still merciful. Although Uchiha Kai's words are very pretentious, but there is no way, his strength is so arrogant. And the Hyacinth, whose skill is not as good as others, has nothing to say. He seems to be going mad, and his trembling body keeps going backwards, and he directly retreats to the point where there is no way to retreat. Mad, mad, mad. After shouting a few times, he jumped straight down, and he looked very embarrassed. At this stop, Hyacinth's reputation was crippled. Advertisement. The referee stepped forward, raised the arm of the Battle of Gods and announced, "This station, the gods will win." Audiences are very easy creatures to change their minds. Seeing such a tyrannical battle of gods is naturally liked by most people. Although there are many diehard fans of other talented players, those swaying audiences suddenly became gods, fans of war. The one who shouted the most was the goalkeeper who was watching the door. He originally thought that the strength of Shenzhen was only capable of picking up 2,000 jins of heavy objects, but now this strong man opened his eyes and kept shouting, "Daddy is awesome." 99. Standing on the arena, Terumi Mei in the Shadow Ninja office was a little surprised. She originally thought that this young man named Shen Zan was an arrogant brat, but she didn't expect her strength to be so strong. Although Terumi Mei is not a Grandmaster wind style, but seeing the wind style used by Shenzhen can also instantly understand that it must belong to the advanced state of wind style. So Terumi Mei asked, "If you don't cut the Peachland, you will often go to the Land of Wind to perform missions. What level do you think the wind style of God War has reached?" At this time, Taodi Zebujan was actually a little nervous in his heart. 810. It seems that this divine war is not only an arrogant, but also a guy who likes to pretend, and he has such a superb level. So he didn't hide it, and said directly, "I have dealt with Ninja of the Kingdom of Wind. Although the power of Feng Lei Po used in the Battle of the Gods is not great, but the profound meaning contained in it is S-grade." As soon as he heard the power of S-rank magic, Terumi Mei stood up directly from the desk, walked to the windowsill, and looked more closely at this guy called Divine War, who was able to use S-rank profound meanings at such a young age. Wind style, that's more genius than genius. You must know that only the shadow ninjas of each country may be able to use S-rank ninjutsu. Other Jonins can at most reach A-rank ninjutsu. Only Taodi will not cut such a talented guy. Even if it is not shadow ninja, he will use S-rank ninjutsu, but there are very few such characters. Fengmao Water Chestnut. And Shen Zan seems to be in his early 20s, his identity is a mystery, and he can use such a powerful ninjutsu so easily. Chapter 252 Very useful. 1. For subscription and full subscription. Chapter 252 Very useful. That's not just a genius, it's a godsend. Terumi Mei said, "I'm afraid it's not that simple. He just used a very easy technique. If he wants to use wind style strongly, I'm afraid the power will be incalculable." 39. That is to say, what Shen Zan said about Taodi Zebujan was not a rhetoric at all, but it really had the strength to single out all the characters in the land of water. At this time, Taudi Zebujan entered a serious state, and his eyes gradually became gloomy. He said, if this kind of character can't be used by us, then we need to get rid of it. God knows if he will grow up when he grows up, against us. Terumi Mei nodded, and the atmosphere became more tense. After a period of rest, Uchiha Qiye, who had already won, stepped into the ring again. This time it was different from the last time. A group of people cheered the name of the Battle of Gods, which Uchiha Qiye felt very useful. If you continue to pretend, then the number of pretend points must be doubled. The referee stepped forward and said to the audience, below, it's from the land of soil, black soil. The black soil came up slowly, as the name suggests, with dark skin, strong, serious face, every step with a thunderous momentum, because it is too strong. With a height of 2 meters, it is simply a moving tower. Uchiha Qiye looked up and down the black soil, because he had been to the land of soil, but he had never seen such a person. It's not surprising, because he didn't stay there for a long time, and he didn't know the land of the land very well. Advertisement Heitu looked at Uchiha Qiye angrily with a pair of eyes. He said, you don't give any face in the ring. Hyacinth is so humiliated by you. I must get justice for him this time. Not afraid that the opponent is not fierce, what Uchiha Qiye is afraid of is that the opponent is not arrogant enough, otherwise he will pretend to be forceful. Uchiha Qiye said, you are from the land of the earth? You must be using earth style, and today I will teach you what is the real earth style. 35. As soon as these words came out, the audience exclaimed. Because everyone knows that being able to use a familiar chakra ninjutsu is the ability of most people, and if you can use 2, it is a genius, and only a few shadow ninjutsu has this kind of strength. For example, Yuan Fei of Konoha village's 3rd Hokage can use 3 types of chakra, and no one else has this kind of power. And after using wind style, Shen Zan actually said that he would use earth style. Everyone was shocked. It seems that this God War is a man who can often surprise others. Heitu said, I know you are arrogant, but I didn't expect you to be so arrogant. Heitu, are the preparations for the land of the land. Jonin, I don't believe you can defeat me. Uchiha Sasuke shrugged his shoulders lightly and didn't speak, because he knew what was going on as long as the fight started. At this time, the referee stepped forward and announced the start of the game. The black soil directly used the A-level ninjutsu, earth style, earth river. Because the arena is very large, with several thousand square meters, no matter what kind of large-scale ninjutsu can be used, it gives players enough space to play. Advertisement as soon as the earth stream was launched, the land above the ground collapsed instantly, and thus gathered above the sky, the whole earth trembled, and the rumbling went straight to the Battle of Gods. Uchiha Qiye glanced up and sneered. Obviously it was a one-on-one duel, but to use such a group spell, I really don't know what to say to him, but it doesn't matter, it's just a trick. Shen Zan shouted, Earth-style enchantment, no dungeon. This is also an A- level Earth-style ninjutsu, seeing that the earth, and the monstrous force are attacking Uchiha Qiye. And Uchiha Qiye directly erected an Earth-style enchantment, and the dungeon became a well-matched protector to deal with the attack of the black soil. The sound of rumbling and rumbling explosions followed one after another, but within a few seconds, the dungeon was unscathed, and Tuliu Dehe's attack had come to an end. Seeing this battle, all the audience believed that God Battle can indeed have chakra with 2 attributes at the same time. It is no exaggeration to call it a genius among geniuses. Seeing the end of the attack, Uchiha Qiye also restrained the dungeon and said to the black soil, you should show your strongest moves directly, otherwise this thing is not enough to drag. But at this moment, Uchiha Qiye found himself miscalculated, because the black soil standing in front of him was just an earth-style dummy, so where did the real person go? The cosmic wave Qiye reacted in an instant, suddenly aware of the other party's breath behind his body, so he sneered. Sure enough, the top-level A-rank ninjutsu was launched from the black soil in the dark. It is said that the power of the A-rank is actually close to that of the S-rank. If you are hit, you will die or be disabled. Earth style, the sky falls. The black soil activated the Skyfall cover. Chapter 253 Crazy Collection and Force Point. 2. Please subscribe for full order. Chapter 253 This is an Earth-style spell related to the spirit of the contract. I saw a huge toad falling from the sky. If it was really hit, it would be crushed instantly whether it was steel or diamond. Uchiha Qiye raised his head and glanced at the Earth-style spell in the shape of a huge toad that was rapidly descending, and he didn't even try to hide. This was completely beyond Black Earth's expectations, because when he was using the Earth Flow River, he had already prepared Earth Style by Uchiha Kai's side. He fell into the pit in an instant, and he couldn't even climb out, so he could only be slaughtered by others. However, Uchiha Qiye remained unmoved, watching helplessly as the sky smashed down. All the audience also held their breath at this moment, and even forgot to make a sound to remind the gods to escape. The next second directly surprised everyone. Uchiha Qiye used Earth Style's S-rank ninjutsu, Earth Style, Earth Dragon Spear. As soon as he said the name, the black soil directly widened his eyes. This is the ninjutsu that the Shadow Ninja Onogi of the Land of the Earth can use only 810. How can this God War use it? Uchiha Qiye is surrounded by a mighty chakra, and the surrounding land seems to have spirituality, completely responding to his call, as if Uchiha Qiye is the ruler of the entire earth. The rumbling sound shook the earth, and the surrounding earth left its original position and gathered in the palm of Uchiha Qiye. They gathered into the prototype of an earth dragon, and suddenly opened his eyes, as if it really had spirituality. If the mountains are not high, there are immortals, and if the water is not deep, there are dragons. The Earth Dragon is the guardian of this land, and such a spiritual creature completely obeys Uchiha Kai's call and becomes his weapon. The Earth Dragon in the hands of Uchiha Qiye let out a roar of rage against the sky falling from the sky. Advertisement as Uchiha Qiye suddenly swung out the Earth Dragon roared and then directly confronted Tianjungai. Boom! A strong explosion sounded, causing the entire audience to have a brief tinnitus. Tulong gave up his life and forgot to die, and directly poked a hole in the Skyfall cover, and then the Skyfall cover was raging incessantly by the Earth Dragon, and finally exploded with a bang. The sky fell and was completely torn apart by Uchiha Kai's Earth Dragon. Quiet feeling. The originally boiling crowd fell into a heavy wait for a long time, and they couldn't believe that they could watch the display of S-rank ninjutsu. I can't believe that the Battle of Gods can display Earth style so superbly. After staying for more than 10 seconds, a strong and lasting excitement erupted from the entire audience. God fights bullshit. It's too strong, the first in the universe of Shenzhen. I was moved to tears. I can see such a wonderful Earth style in my lifetime, and I have no regrets when I die. Those die-hard fans of other talented players also looked at this young man called God War. Is he really as his name suggests? He is simply a god of war. Advertisement at the same time, the Black Soil, who was stunned in place, has completely lost the will to fight. BECJ, because the fighting strength displayed by the Battle of God is already comparable to his master, Shadow Onogi. He too lost his heart and folded his fists directly and said, I won't fight anymore, you are better than me, and I am willing to bow down. Since everyone said so, of course Uchiha Qiye wouldn't be embarrassed anymore, so he said, it's easy to talk about it. If there is anything you don't understand in the future, Oyemu, just come and ask me for God's War. Ding. Pretend points increased by 9,999. Uchiha Qiye is very happy in his heart. He has already gained 20,000 pretending points today, and he can continue to improve his strength. But it's not enough at all, he needs more pretending points. Black Soil went on, but he lost decently, and no one felt that Black Soil was very cowardly. After all, Shenzan was a character who could control soil dragons and dominate the earth. That was the essence of Earth style. Of course, it is not comparable to Black Soil. This time, Terumi Mei, who had been watching the game, was once again shocked. She exclaimed, is this person a monster? How can he even use this level of Earth style? Originally, the meaning of Terumi Mei's ring is to absorb talents, and it can be used for himself in the future. The strength shown in this Battle of Gods has completely exceeded the limit of the so-called talents in the imagination of the ninja world. Taudi Zebujan also re-evaluated the strength of the Battle of God in his heart, because his performance was simply too heaven-defying. Taudi Zebujan said, there may be other abilities that haven't been brought out in this Battle of Gods, but at the current position, I can't even see through his weakness. If it's one-on-one, he and I may not be alive or dead. Terumi Mei is also worried about this. If the Battle of God is really as he said, to single out everything in the country of water, it will definitely become a big problem for the confidant. The key is to know God's position, which country does he belong to, and what is his purpose? Chapter 254 Calm Analysis. 3. Please subscribe for full order. Chapter 254 Calm Analysis. So Terumi Mei said, gather the 7 ninja swordsmen. After the game, if the Battle of Gods is not used by us, kill with speed, no matter where he is. Taudi Zabuzan has always admired Terumi Mei's decisive decision-making power, which is why a woman can become a very important reason for shinobi. First of all, Terumi Mei has a very strong strength, which is not something that Taudi can't deal with, and secondly, her character is comparable to that of a man. With wisdom and determination, there is no fault at all. This time I didn't even pick a place at all, which means that Shenzan is a character who must be won, and doesn't care about his face at all. Life is in front of face. If there is no life, what face is there? Taudi Zebujan went out after answering. The 7 ninja swordsmen are extremely powerful beings in the ninja world. Together, they are invincible existences. If the 7 people cooperate together, they will kill them. Death is a very possible thing. Therefore, the existence of the land of water and the land of fire is equally famous. During the short break, Shenzan sat on the lounge chair and watched the competition in other venues. The other contestants could at most use B-level ninjutsu, and they didn't even want to watch it. But as an audience, these things are just desserts, and everyone is still waiting for the next game of the Battle of Gods. Thinking that there were 2 consecutive battles, and according to the rules, there was a 2-hour break, 2 Jonin medical teams also appeared beside Shenzan. It was 2 female ninjas. They asked, please rest Mr. Shenzan, we are medical ninjas and can help you recover your physical strength and spirit. Shenzan shook his head. He wouldn't give up any chance to pretend. I didn't need to rest at all. It was just a warm-up exercise to deal with 2 little boys. Advertisement 2 female ninjas. You look at me, I look at you. Since people don't need them, they can only retreat in embarrassment. When she retreated to the locker room, Terumi Mei happened to be inside, because she couldn't stand on it anymore. She had to watch the Battle of the Gods more closely, and she wanted to see it clearly. In the dressing room, Terumi Mei asked, what did he just say? The 2 medical Jonin repeated the words of the Battle of Gods. Terumi Mei nodded, feeling some regrets in her heart. Because the profession of the medical ninja is very special, if he treats the other party, he can instantly perceive the other party's extraordinary meridians and 8 meridians, and what level of ninjutsu is in the end, so that the other party can be clearly detected. But Shenzan refused, which made Terumi Mei feel very sorry. So he nodded and said, "Understood, you all retreat." The two medical jonin walked out of the locker room. Terumi Mei stood up, and through a crack in the door could clearly see the back of Shenzan. This young man is watching a boring fight intently. Because of Terumi Mei Grandmaster's water spells, he really wants to perceive the battle of gods with water spells. But thinking about this in my heart seems inappropriate. If it is noticed by Shenzan, it will be a shock. Just thinking and watching. But at this moment, Shenzan actually stood up slowly and looked back at Terumi Mei's eyes that came out from the crack of the door. Asterisk asterisk. The latter was very horrified, and immediately hid his figure, and at the same time was a little shocked in his heart. Advertisement could it be that this man's perception ability has reached such a terrifying level, that he has restrained his breath enough and was discovered? Impossible. Even to capture the breath, it requires the other party to emit chakra that is unique to him, and he didn't emit chakra just now, so it doesn't make sense at all. Probably, it was just Shenzan who wanted to take a casual glance. In fact, as the owner of the Eternal Eye, there is nothing to hide from him, but Shenzan is not willing to expose this strange woman, because the other party has no malicious intentions. After resting for so long, Uchiha Qiye is about to start his third battle. After getting back into the ring, Uchiha Qiye enjoyed a thunderous welcome and found himself conquering most of the audience here. Next on stage is Fire Nation's genius ninja, Hitaki Tsukumo. Uchiha Qiye glanced at him and had never seen this person at all. Although he was a member of the Fire Nation was too big, and it was impossible to know each one clearly. Look, it's Hitaki Tsukumo, that genius taijutsu ninja from the land of fire. He is Guy's eldest apprentice. It is said that he has obtained the true teaching, but he has no idea how far he has practiced. 39. Hitaki Tsukumo is wearing a green tracksuit. Is this the green brutalist aesthetic of the land of fire? In fact, Uchiha Qiye heard the voices of the audience, and as soon as he heard Guy's name, he naturally understood. It turned out to be Guy's eldest disciple. Chapter 255 I am stronger than your master. 1. Please subscribe for full subscription. Chapter 255 I'm better than your master. Guy's taijutsu is very famous in the whole country of fire, and is even outstanding in the whole ninja world. The pinnacle of taijutsu is Guy. His eldest disciple's name is Hitaki Tsukumo, and he may be from the same family as Hitaki Kakashi, but Uchiha Qiye doesn't know the specifics. He just knows that this guy is good at taijutsu. Hitaki Tsukumo said, "I originally thought you were a practitioner of taijutsu, but I didn't expect that you were only a ninjutsu practitioner, which made me very disappointed, but I was also a little puzzled. Since you are not a practitioner of taijutsu, why can't you?" 0. To easily lift a 2,000-pound boulder. Uchiha Qiye smiled lightly, who said, "I'm not a practitioner of taishu. My taishu, even your master Guy, is by no means my opponent." This wave of pretending directly stunned everyone. They didn't expect that the man called Shenzan was actually a physical practitioner. However, this was nothing. What shocked everyone the most was that Shenzan openly declared, "I am smarter than Guy." Guy's taijutsu is recognized as powerful in the entire ninja world, and it can even be said to be the pinnacle of taijutsu in the industry. Shenzan dared to release such rhetoric. Everyone looked incredulous, but none of them would directly make a mockery. Because the magical ability displayed by the Battle of the Gods is not in a category they can understand at all, it is something they can't imagine at such a young age to have such an absolute strength. As soon as these words came out, Hitaki Tsukumo's eyes immediately became angry, and he absolutely could not tolerate anyone who insulted his master. "Shenzan, I know that you are very capable, but you dare to say that you are stronger than my master Guy's ability, so you are ready to die." Advertisement. Hitaki Tsukumo glared at a pair of bull's eyes, and his face turned slightly red. It seemed that he was provoked, and it was no wonder that it was absolutely unacceptable to directly cover the limelight with his teacher in front of everyone's eyes. Shenzan shrugged his shoulders. "Bring out all your strength. I promise to only use taijutsu to deal with you, and never use any other ninjutsu." Hitaki Tsukumo snorted coldly. "Tell me, do you think I'd be afraid of ninjutsu?" It was still talking, and suddenly Hitaki Tsukumo disappeared in place, and he couldn't even feel the rubbing sound of the air. If it was placed in the place of a normal ninja, it would be impossible to understand what happened, but for the Battle of Gods, it was just a trick. That's because the opponent is moving at a speed that surpasses ordinary human eyes, and ordinary people and even ordinary ninjas cannot see the opponent's movement. But what kind of person is Uchiha Qiye? This is a man with eternal eyes and divine personality, who can easily see all the subtle movements of Hitaki Tsukumo without opening his eyes. You can even freeze the picture to carefully observe his body, skin, and even every pore. The picture is indescribably clear. In the next second, Uchiha Qiye had completely determined that the position where Hitaki Tsukumo was going to appear was right above his head. Leaf Hurricane. Hitaki Tsukumo comes up with super high movement and a set of heavy feet. He spins in the air to increase his gravitational acceleration, so that when he hits the enemy, he will deliver a fatal blow with a very powerful explosive force. Uchiha Qiye also gave the same attack, cross slash. Advertisement. He lifted his leg straight up like scissors and collided directly with Hitaki Tsukumo's whirlwind leg. Boom. The strong impact did not suppress the impact between ninjutsu at all. The impact that erupted from the center of the field could be heard from far away, and there was even a white cyclone around it, which could be clearly seen by the human eye. Hitaki Tsukumo looked at the one-eyed battle in surprise. He thought that this Battle of Gods would definitely not be able to react, and if he gave a series of attacks, it was very possible to win with one blow. But Shenzan actually captured his movement trajectory, and gave the same force to hit, neither dodging nor dodging. It was hard steel. The two forces collided together, and it could be seen that neither of them exerted their full strength. Hitaki Tsukumo was blasted out by the huge impact, but landed on the ground smoothly. He could feel the numbness in his legs, as if this move hit the steel 2.9 times. What is certain is that the battle of gods in front of him is indeed a high-strength physique practitioner, because the strength of his body has reached this level, and his strength is so strong, he must have been tempered. Hitaki Tsukumo, after this wave of temptations, must come up with what he can do, and that is 8 inner gates. The Gate of Life, open. Guy's physical skills are divided into 8 gates. Each time a gate is opened, the person's attack speed and movement speed will be exponentially multiplied, reaching a physical ability that is strong enough to pervert. After Hitaki Tsukumo opened the Gate of Life, the popularity of the whole person soared. Chapter 256 The Strongest Night Banquet. 2. Please subscribe for full subscription. Chapter 256 The Strongest Banquet. With a buzzing sound, he continued to rush over, but in Uchiha Kai's eyes, he was just like a child. At this moment, Uchiha Qiye said silently, Shengmen, Shumen, Jingmun, open. The explosive power of the third gate Tonkai is comparable to that of Superman, and Hitaki Tsukumo was terrified at this moment. Is the battle of God in front of him human? Because Uchiha Qiye directly opened the third gate, the explosive force was definitely much stronger than Hitaki Tsukumo, who only opened one gate. Uchiha Qiye punched in the past, directly smashing Hitaki Tsukumo's face, and fell to the ground with a thud. What followed was an exclamation from the audience. My god, the god of war is simply the god of war, and he can even have 8 gate 14 Dunjia. That's right, isn't this guy's trick? How can God fight? I've come to worship him, he's a god-like man. Hitaki Tsukumo, who was knocked to the ground, slowly stood up. He glanced at Uchiha Qiye and said, Shenzan, how could you also use my master's moves? Shenzan said condescendingly, in this world, there is nothing that I can't do in Shenzan, but it is 8 inner gates, a little trick. Hitaki Tsukumo wiped the bloodline from the corner of his mouth. He finally realized how terrifying and pervert the man in front of him was. If he didn't do his best, he probably wouldn't even have the chance to get close. He seems to have made up his mind that even if he opens more doors directly, it will cause damage to his body, but he will spare no expense for his dignity. Open the door of life, the door of closure, the door of Jing, the door of shock, the door of do, open. Advertisement. Since Hitaki Tsukumo opened the 6th gate at once, his whole popularity skyrocketed, and his face changed dramatically, looking like a god of death. Uchiha Qiye knew where his limit was, and it turned out that he could open the 6th gate at the same time. But he can open the 8th gate at the same time. Uchiha Qiye said, boy, let you see clearly what the highest level of 8 inner gates is. 8 inner gates, all open. In addition to the above 6th gate, there are also the gate of death and the gate of injury. Once these two murderous gates are opened, the infinite potential of the human body will be fully stimulated in a short time. But the price of using it is death. In this world, the only person who can open the 8th gate to fight and not die is Guy, so Guy has become the pinnacle of taijutsu. Never heard of anyone else in this world who could open the 8th gate. However, the Uchiha Qiye in front of him can actually open the 8th gate. After opening the 8th gate at the same time, the whole person's hair is white, the eyes are torchlight, and all the muscles of the body show a very toned posture. The 8th gate opened at the same time and called it, Day Tiger. When the physical technique reaches its peak, there will be a white tiger soul guarding the body of the releaser, which is the martial soul. Seeing this scene, Hitaki Tsukumo, who could only open 6th gate, was dumbfounded. He had only seen this state from his master Guy. The second one is this man called Divine War. But he couldn't believe it at all, because after opening the 8th gate, except Guy would not die, everyone else would die, so Guy hadn't given him the method of how to open the gate of death and injury. Advertisement, I don't believe it, I don't believe it. Hitaki Tsukumo, who only opened the 6th gate, rushed over directly. His martial arts would never allow him to be a cowardly person. Even if he died in battle, he would go forward. Uchiha Qiye, who was posted by the White Tiger, was able to completely penetrate Hitaki Tsukumo's every move. There are no bells and whistles of ninjutsu duels, and no tricky skills and traps, and some are just hand-to-hand combat. Two people, you come and I go, you punch and I kick, no one is willing to defend, no one is attacking violently. The scene kept making the sound of bang bang bang, and every impact was accompanied by the shaking of the earth, and the scene of the scene was extremely exciting. But obviously opening the 8th gate and appearing in the form of 810 in the form of a day tiger is even better, because he hardly suffered any injuries, and Hitaki Tsukumo, who only opened the 6th gate, has been beaten beyond recognition. In the end, the battle of the gods ended the battle with one skill, Day Tiger Lightspeed Fist. I saw that Uchiha Kai's soul of the Day Tiger almost materialized, and the fist that was as fast as light hit Hitaki Tsukumo's body as densely as raindrops. The sound of bombing kept sounding, and finally Hitaki Tsukumo couldn't hold on anymore and was knocked to the ground by Uchiha Kai's last punch. With a thud, Hitaki Tsukumo fell. But Uchiha Qiye was completely restraining his strength. If he used 10 times 10 strength, Hitaki Tsukumo would have died long ago. After watching this scene, the crowd at the bottom immediately boiled, and kept cheering that the battle of God is the god of war. Ding! Pretend point increased by 9,999. Uchiha Qiye is very happy, and he has gained more than 40,000 pretending points from this group of viewers. Chapter 257 Another Crazy One. 1. Please subscribe for full subscription. Chapter 257 Another Crazy One. Seeing Hitaki Tsukumo lying on the ground, the cosmic wave Qiye also reverted to his day tiger form and became a normal one. Hitaki Tsukumo stood up tremblingly and said to Uchiha Qiye, God War, you opened the 8th gate, won't you fight me at the cost of death? Uchiha Qiye shook his head and said, I won't die. The reason why the 8th gate is opened is considered to be death, that is because after the death gate erupts, people will inevitably die, but I will put my value sign in the death gate, then all the evil thoughts will be eliminated, and you will go to fight completely calmly. You look like I am very violent, but in fact, my heart is as calm as water. 9. As soon as these words came out, it seemed that the biggest secret of 8 inner gates had been broken. Uchiha Qiye continued, and your master guy also realized this, so you won't die. This requires the temperament and the tempering of the world. It's a pity that the vast majority of people in this world are impossible to do. It is so, it is so. Hitaki Tsukumo finally understands why Master Guy has been refusing to teach the way to open the door of death and injury, it is out of complete protection. Even if he opened the 6th gate, he could not restrain the manic power in his body and became extremely violent, not to mention opening the door of death and injury. It is estimated that his reason has completely disappeared, and he has become a machine that only knows how to kill. But in the battle of gods in front of him, after opening the 8th gate, he can still remain calm as water as the wind, which is not only the gap in strength, but also the gap between Shinshin cultivation and realm. In this battle, Hitaki Tsukumo lost convincingly. But after thinking about it, Shenzan said that his strength has surpassed Guy, but he doesn't know where he surpassed Guy. So Hitaki Tsukumo said, you say you are stronger than my master, but I want to ask you, where are you stronger than him? Advertisement from the current point of view, Shenzan is equivalent to his master's performance, both can open the 8th gate and become a day tiger. Cosmic Wave Qiye said, your master Guy only knows the day tiger, but he doesn't understand the ultimate meaning, the night banquet. Night party. Hitaki Tsukumo looked at the battle of the gods inexplicably. The night banquet is the opposite of the day tiger, and it is also the realm of the god of the legendary physique. That realm can only be achieved in the form of a god. Can it be achieved by the battle of gods? Is he really a god? He didn't believe it, that was absolutely impossible. So Hitaki Tsukumo said, God War, I admit your strength now, you are indeed much stronger than me, but you are still bragging. The banquet is close to the realm of God, you can't do it. Uchiha Qiye smiled coldly, thinking in his heart, what is it to be close to a god? This god tier is a godhead, and mere closeness to a god is simply a piece of cake. So Uchiha Qiye said, approaching God is not a matter of becoming a god, but as a human being, you can still approach God infinitely, and you can still do it. He has never been a person who just talks and doesn't practice, so his aura is full, showing everyone present the real look of the night banquet. First open the gates, 8 inner gates become the form of the day tiger, then Uchiha Qiye quickly seals in his hand, 9 stars return to the sky. The highest meaning of 8 inner gates is that the 8th gate is fully open, but above the 8th gate is the 9 stars, which is the corresponding relationship between the sky and the ground. After the 9 stars are fully unlocked, the 8th gate will become more powerful and become the final night banquet. I saw the sky darken for a moment, and Uchiha Qiye became the only god of killing in this darkness. Advertisement, his whole body exudes red light, his eyes are sharp like knives, and the deterrent power of his body permeates the entire audience. Felt terrified. Uchiha Qiye said, this is the state of the banquet, the state that is closest to the gods in the body arts. It's just for you to see. After speaking, Uchiha Qiye returned to his original appearance, and the sky was clear again, as if everything that had just happened was just an illusion. How is this possible? Hitaki Tsukumo's mentality exploded after seeing with his own eyes the form of the night banquet at the highest level of taijutsu. Shenzan is just a man of his age, who has completely crushed him on top of taijutsu, and he has a lot of ninjutsu skills. Not only crushed him in Chianda's physical skills, but also crushed his master Guy Tuo. Because Guy can't be in the form of a night party either. Mad, you must be a lunatic. Hitaki Tsukumo held his head nervously, he didn't want to believe and couldn't believe that there was a genius more talented than him in this world. In a panic, he ran out madly. The audience fell into silence again, and everyone was reminiscing about the form of the banquet just now, because they really felt that they had seen God and witnessed the appearance of God with their own eyes. Although I don't know how powerful the night banquet will be, the current battle of gods is already synonymous with the god of war in their hearts. Chapter 258 The God of War is the God of War. 2. Please subscribe for full subscription. Chapter 258 God of War is God of War. There is probably no young man stronger than him in this world. After a while, the crowd was excited and boiling again. God of War, really is the God of War. He is a god, and a god has come to participate in a duel between mortals. I want to worship him as a teacher, no matter what country he is from, as long as I can learn ninjutsu with him. Everyone is chasing Uchiha Qiye, thinking that he is an omnipotent god. Terumi Mei was also standing not far away, watching the battle of the gods with her own eyes. One thing she was almost certain was that even if she went out in person, she might not be the opponent of the battle of gods. It seems that Shenzan keeps saying that he wants to single-handedly take over the country of water, and this man has complete strength to do it. But Terumi Mei will never give him a chance to duel him. She is thinking of all ways to kill Shinigami, because how can such a man of all powerful talents be subservient to others? So there is no need to talk about it. The battle of God is the object that 810 must destroy. Suddenly, a figure came to Terumi Mei's side, and this man was naturally the one who would not cut the peach ground again. He said, King Ninja, my ninja sword 7 people have returned. Taudi Zebujan stared at the battle of gods ahead with a pair of chilling eyes. This target that has been completely locked, absolutely cannot leave here alive. Advertisement. Terumi Mei said, did you see his fight just now? That pervert-level taijutsu ability, something that even guy at the pinnacle of taijutsu in the ninja world couldn't do, actually let Shenzhen do it. This is no ordinary genius, it is simply a god, because even her Terumi Mei may not be able to beat him. Taudi said, I see, this kind of strength is already at the level of Jonin, and even close to the level of Shadow Ninja. BECJ. But I once played against Guy in Konoha. He opened the 8 gate and tied me, so in terms of heads up, I don't know who will win or lose in the battle with God. But ninja, if the group of 7 go together, I still have the confidence to kill him. Taudi Zebujan analyzed the situation very calmly. He acknowledged the power of the battle of gods, but he would never underestimate the strength of the 7 ninja swordsmen. When he heard this, Terumi Mei nodded reassuringly. It's better, of course, if he wants to join our country of water, but we can talk first. Because the battle of the gods is really too tempting, if it can be included in a peaceful way, it is naturally the best, and it is naturally a last resort to get rid of this man. Taudi doesn't think that Shenzhen is willing to condescend to be condescending. People who like to pretend to be so powerful and have absolute strength, of course, don't want to be a subordinate of a certain country. But he can understand Terumi Mei's mentality, because everyone is willing to attract talents, the more the better, especially the top-level talents like Shenzhen. There was a lot of excitement in the audience, and the discussions were in full swing. Everyone was discussing the character of God War. Probably the biggest unpopular and the strongest dark horse this year was God War. The 2 talented players who were the most vocal in the past have not been discussed at all. After fighting for so long, Uchiha Qiye didn't feel tired at all. Instead, he felt that all this was just a warm-up and he couldn't reach the level of fighting at all. Advertisement. The referee just came up to announce the victory of the Battle of Gods and wanted to pull him down to rest, so the Battle of Gods directly rejected the referee's intention. He said directly, I don't need to rest, and dealing with these shrimp soldiers and crab generals is not at the point where I need a rest. The people behind come up one by one. Uchiha Qiye has reached the point where he doesn't pretend and doesn't speak, and he has to pretend as long as he speaks. This kind of character was annoying at first, but after seeing the strength of this man, no one hates it anymore, because people really have this kind of arrogant capital, so this kind of character that is almost crazy instead, it has become the favorite character of some middle-aged and second-brained fans. I announce that I have given up all my previous idols, and I am dedicated to the battle of fans. Me too, I will be a die-hard fan of Shenzhen in the future. I love you like a mouse loves rice. Therefore, the audience gentlemen are ruthless, changeable, and dislike the old. As long as there are more eye-catching and powerful characters, they will ruthlessly abandon the idols they were willing to dedicate their lives to before, and suddenly they will switch camps. Ding! Pretend points increased by 4,999. 5 Uchiha Qiye thought to himself, it turns out that pretending to be forceful can also achieve miraculous effects. The more you pretend, the stronger you are, the stronger you are. There are still 2 contestants left, one is Cloud Shinobi from the Kingdom of Thunder, and the other is Shui Ji from the Kingdom of Snow. These 2 are also very strong. The first person to come up was Cloud Shinobi from the Land of Thunder. As his name suggests, he gives a feeling of misty clouds and mist, like a dream. This person looks misty. Chapter 259 appears. The Land of Thunder. Cloud Shinobi comes out. 3. Please subscribe for full order. Chapter 259 appears. The Land of Thunder. Cloud Shinobi comes out. It turned out to be the country of thunder. Uchiha Qiye only heard about this country, but if he guessed correctly, he should be using the thunder attribute chakra exclusively. Cloud Shinobi, with long hair half covering his eyes, looked a little indifferent. He said to Uchiha Qiye, God War, no matter how big you are, you can't be my opponent. Uchiha Qiye likes to talk with this rhythm of pretending, because as long as the other party is pretending to force him, there will be more excuses to pretend to be forceful. Uchiha Qiye smiled indifferently. Why do you say that? Shen Zan said, I am the most promising person in the Kingdom of Thunder to take over the future Raikage. All chakras of all attributes are the most noble of thunder, and the chakra you have shown is definitely not my opponent. Thunder attribute chakra. Did Uchiha Qiye say that he does not have the thunder attribute? And this guy looks cloudy and foggy, but he is actually just a pretending young man, but it is not a wise choice to pretend to be realistic in front of Uchiha Qiye. Uchiha Qiye said, don't brag too early, just attack. Cloud Shinobi's reputation in the Kingdom of Thunder is like thunder, and the shadow of the Kingdom of Thunder has been waiting for this young man to take his place in the future, so he is very spoiled. For a long time, all the tasks that Cloud Shinobi performed were all done by Guy, who won without discomfort, so he was naturally a little rebellious at a young age. Originally, he came to the Land of Water to easily obtain treasures like Snow Lotus, and by the way, he became famous for the Land of Thunder, but when he saw Uchiha Qiye who suddenly came out, he was also a little afraid. Because he knew all the other contestants in particular, and knew what their weaknesses were, and by virtue of their strength, none of these so-called talented contestants were his opponents. Advertisement. Therefore, Cloud Shinobi, who thought he had a 90% chance, must be serious now, because he didn't fully understand Uchiha Qiye, and the strength he showed was extremely amazing. Cloud Shinobi must win. Cloud Shinobi, we will always support you. Unexpectedly, the vast majority of the audience has now jumped into the camp of God Wars, and there are still a small number of stubborn fans who are still loyal fans of Cloud Shinobi without any regrets. Katakana middle dot katakana middle dot flowers katakana middle dot katakana middle dot katakana middle dot. It seems that this is the prototype of the Ninja World Rice Circle. Suddenly, Cloud Shinobi moved his fingers and his hands at an extremely fast speed, which made people look dazzling. Uchiha Qiye admired the gesture alone. To judge the level of a ninja, in addition to his skills, the speed of a seal is also an extremely critical point, which is ignored by other ninjas. 0. The higher the comprehensive level of a ninja, the faster the flow of chakra in the body, the more sensitive the reaction, and the more spiritual the research level of his own magic, then the faster he will seal the seal. Obviously, Cloud Shinobi is not a bragging guy. He has shown such a fast method of forming seals at a young age, and he can basically disdain all his peers. After a while, there was some lightning movement in the sky, and lightning sparks flickered in Cloud Shinobi's eyes. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning fell from the sky, directly piercing through Cloud Shinobi's body, only to see Cloud Shinobi's entire body showing a translucent color, which contained the extremely strong power of thunder and lightning, circling the earth fiercely in the body. Chapter 260 The Fierce Collision Between Chidori and the Wind and Thunder General. Chapter 260 The Fierce Collision Between Chidori and the Wind and Thunder General. Uchiha Qiye knew that this guy called Cloud Shinobi had merged with Raiden. His entire body was the carrier of Raiden, and he was indeed gifted. From this, the thunder and lightning slowly converged into an insubstantial thunderbolt sword in Cloud Shinobi's hands, which looked brilliant. At this time, Cloud Shinobi has transformed into a thunder warrior, and he is rarely shown in such a powerful form in the exhibition, 823, unless he encounters an opponent that he attaches great importance to. Obviously, Uchiha Qiye's demonstrated strength is fully qualified to become Cloud Shinobi's lifelong enemy. God, Cloud Shinobi is so handsome. This is the first time I see Cloud Shinobi like this, he is so strong, 95. This is the only player who can defeat the God of War, come on Cloud Shinobi, 35. Because the appearance of this appearance is very handsome, the few die-hard fans who are already roaring, the appearance of Cloud Shinobi has become an army of hope, people all have a rebellious mentality. There is someone who can defeat the battle of gods and create miracles. With this wave after another, because of the drive of these die-hard fans, another batch of female fans actually cheered Cloud Shinobi. Come on Cloud Shinobi will win. Uchiha Qiye sees all of this, but he knows in his heart that this Cloud Shinobi is by no means his opponent. Although he has a strong ability to comprehend Raiden, if he wants to talk about the essence of Raiden, Uchiha Qiye is the best, the real Thor. Uchiha Qiye smiled coldly, yes, you are indeed stronger than others, come on. Advertisement Thunder and Lightning Hanabi's sword in Cloud Shinobi's hand shone like a ray of hope in this thunderous scene. Shen Zan, I will use my Fenglei sword to hit you and beg for mercy. As soon as the words fell, Cloud Shinobi rushed over, and the speed was faster than lightning, showing a blue lightning, and rushed directly in front of Uchiha Qiye in less than a blink of an eye. Uchiha Qiye was also amazed at his speed, but under the blessing of the Eternal Eye, any speed collision would become slow in his eyes, so every detail was under his control. Uchiha Qiye didn't even have a seal, and a group of thunder lights suddenly appeared in his hand, suddenly like the sound of thunder, thousands of birds chirped, and a very strong sound broke out. He didn't dodge or dodge, and he directly fought against Cloud Shinobi's wind and thunder sword. At this moment, Cloud Shinobi felt a little dazed, because under the blessing of thunder and lightning, his reaction speed was extremely fast, and the opponent's every move was quickly captured, but the Uchiha Qiye seal was not seen at all. Does this man need to stay connected when he releases ninjutsu? Only the talented second Hokage, a man known as the Golden Flash, can do this. Could it be the same for God War? Such thoughts flashed past, and the current fight was the focus. Chidori. 2.9 Uchiha Qiye named this technique as Chidori because the technique in his hand will burst out countless birds chirping in an instant, which is the embodiment of bringing lightning style to ultimate in an instant. Chidori and Funleijian collided with each other. Bang! The entire position trembled. Chidori exploded instantly under the beheading of the Wind Thunder Sword, and the Wind Thunder Sword also shattered due to Chidori's attack. Chapter 261 The Real Man-God Battle of the Second Seal. Chapter 261 The Real Man-God Battle of the Second Seal. The two's clothes were raging in the wind because of chakra's chaotic distribution when they were contrasting with each other, and they stepped back 5 steps before they stopped. This trick confrontation, frankly speaking, the two are no winner or loser. All the audience at the scene were mesmerized, and the scene of tens of thousands of people became silent at this moment. Because they realized a very crucial point, that is, there really appeared a man who could compete with the battle of God, instead of being pressed and rubbed on the ground by the battle of God. Cloud Shinobi caught lightning style and once again generated a Funleijian 14 from his hand. In this confrontation, neither side was injured, but inquired about each other's strength. After a long time, people finally broke out with a strong voice, but this time the focus of their discussion was all on Uchiha Qiye. God Zan is probably God. He has already used 2 kinds of ninjutsu, and now he has added a new lightning-style ninjutsu. Is there any ninjutsu that he can't? 2 kinds of ninjutsu are already at the genius level, and lightning style is the 3rd type. This god battle is even more genius than genius. People are more popular than dead people. I can't even be a master of one kind, and all 3 of them are at the master level, 99. Similarly, Terumi Mei's eyes are wide open. The current position of God War has shown 3 kinds of ninjutsu attacks, each of which is a master. Can he also master other chakras? Terumi Mei is a ninja with the boundaries of blood, and is the highest representative of water style in the country of water. If God Wars can even have water style, then I wonder if his water style will be above Terumi Mei? Advertisement. The more she looked at Uchiha Qiye, the more terrifying this man felt. Taudi said, "This person is too dangerous, and his identity is a secret. If you let him go, it will definitely bring inestimable losses." At this time, the Kingdom of Water has also started a roundup plan. As long as the game is over, Jonin of the Kingdom of Water and the 7 ninja swordsmen will guard at important locations and wait for Uchiha Qiye. If they do not join the Kingdom of Water, even if they are overturned, the power of the whole country will also kill him. Cloud Shinobi's hazy eyes flashed sparks due to the injection of lightning, and it seemed that he could see anything transparent at a glance. He glanced at him and asked, "God Zan, I really didn't expect you to be a grandmaster of lightning style, and noticed that you can cast spells without a seal. Are you the descendant of Second Hokage, the land of fire, the golden glitter?" Of course Uchiha Qiye knew who he was talking about, but Second Hokage was already dead. How could there be any descendants? So Uchiha Qiye smiled and said, No, Second Hokage is not my opponent. Even if he is alive, I would dare to say that, let alone any heirs. 823 This man has to pretend to be forceful at any time. As long as he speaks, he must have a taste of pretending to be forceful. No matter how powerful he is, people are used to this man. Cloud Shinobi asked again, "Then how did you manage to cast lightning style without even having the movement of the seal?" Because, if Shen Zan is the descendant of Second Hokage, it is because of learning certain tricks to do it, which means cheating. But it is very unfortunate that Shen Zan said that he is not a descendant at all, which can only explain one thing. Shen Zan's understanding of lightning style, as well as the essence of lightning style chakra master, as well as the reaction speed, the flow of chakra in the body is faster than Cloud Shinobi. Chapter 262 You have never seen the true essence of lightning style. Chapter 262 You have never seen the true essence of lightning style. It's so close to the point that it doesn't need to be sealed at all, and it can be released instantly. Uchiha Qiye said, "It's very simple, lightning style is originally for me. Thor is me. I am Thor, where do I need a seal?" This statement is extremely arrogant, but it gives people an irrefutable feeling. God Zan, I know that you are powerful, but you should stop this kind of bragging. Cloud Shinobi doesn't believe that the battle of gods in front of them is the people who practice lightning style, and they often look up to Thor, because in the ninja world, every element has its gods behind it, giving ninjas the most primitive chakra attributes. Thor, that is, the god who bestows the thunder attribute chakra, so these ninjas resting in lightning style, with awe and gratitude in their hearts, will always place a statue of Thor, in an attempt to get better under the blessing of Thor, strong lightning style essence. However, this god war said that he was Thor himself, not only pretending to be coercive, but simply arrogant and even ignorant. Cloud Shinobi was angry in his heart, thinking that he must teach this godly battle who loves to pretend, so he immediately opened his strongest cultivation base. Even Cloud Shinobi's speed of light speed printing is very cumbersome for 1 second. Even if the time is only 1 second, the extremely complex knotting action is at least composed of thousands of knotting actions. If it is placed in the general lightning style ninja, it is very difficult to successfully seal the seal, because Flying Thunder God is the supreme mental method and the strongest attack method in the lightning style. Flying Thunder God. Hearing the name of this spell, even Uchiha Qiye, who has always been arrogant and contemptuous of everything, raised his brows. He did not expect that this guy Cloud Shinobi has reached the highest level of Grandmaster Lightning Style at such a young age. Advertisement Flying Thunder God is extremely powerful in attack. This is a move that communicates with the god of lightning style, and it is the power bestowed and blessed by Thor. With a bang, there was a thunder and lightning in the sky, and everyone's eyes were turned to the sky. I saw the sky above, dark clouds rolling, thunder and lightning, but there was no sign of rain at all. Because in that cloud of thunder and lightning, a figure of a god suddenly appeared. That is the veritable Thor, the god that all lightning style ninjas often worship. Thor appears and disappears in the dark clouds. A vast and boundless thunder and lightning force merges into Cloud Shinobi's body, and finally the image of Thor appears and disappears around Cloud Shinobi in an indifferent shape. From a certain point of view, Cloud Shinobi has become Thor's spokesman, a ninja protected by Thor, the closest person in the world to Thor. The wind and thunder sword in Cloud Shinobi's hands suddenly became incomparably powerful, and the electric current on it kept rolling. That's because the currents move beyond the speed of light and collide with each other, so time and space appear torn apart and emerge from black holes. Wow. God, this game is so exciting. Is this the god? I saw the god horse with my own eyes. It turns out that Cloud Shinobi's strength is already so powerful that it is comparable to Shinobi. No wonder Raikage of the Land of Thunder has always given his place to Cloud Shinobi. He is truly a well-deserved spokesman for Thor, the strongest lightning style man. 39. The sound of the fishing reels of the audience has a tendency to be one-sided, because the strength shown by Cloud Shinobi has reached the top. Chapter 263 The Ancient Thunder God's Formation stunned everyone. Chapter 263 The Ancient Thunder God's Formation stunned everyone. There cannot be and should not be more transcendent than Cloud Shinobi. And Uchiha Qiye, who was standing opposite Cloud Shinobi, finally had some admiration in his eyes. Such a young man was really close to the godhead, but it was only close. Cloud Shinobi raised the wind and thunder sword in his hand and asked, Shenzan, do you still dare to say that you are the god of thunder? With this question, the momentum went straight into the sky, and the question was a dignified and righteous question, because everyone felt that what Shenzan said just now was just bragging, and it was simply pretending to be too much. There is a seemingly non-existent Thor shape shrouded. Who would have thought that Uchiha Qiye stood on the spot and said unhurriedly, that's right, The master of the essence of lightning style has reached such a state so quickly, and it's even closer to the godhead. But, Uchiha Qiye changed the conversation and continued, you are just a pet blessed by Thor, a young man loved by Thor, so you are a human being, not a god, no matter how close you are just a chaser. What Uchiha Qiye said was right, but still could not convince the public. Immediately after, the next scene Uchiha Kai's actions really stunned everyone present. Let me give you insight, in the end, what is the real godhead, and what is it to control God, rather than being humbled by God's blessing. As Uchiha Qiye spoke, he pointed at the sky, and the sky, which had been billowing with thunder and lightning, suddenly stopped turning and turned into a light cloud. Advertisement Uchiha Qiye flickered extremely pure lightning in his hands, and suddenly a magic circle appeared around his body, which was the legendary Thunder God magic circle. Legend has it that only the god of thunder can use the magic circle, which is the divine right to summon all the thunder and lightning in this world. Others couldn't understand it, but Cloud Shinobi, opposite Uchiha Qiye, understood it. He stared, BECJ, dumbfounded at the legendary magic circle, shining with beating thunder and lightning. It was definitely not a bluff. The real Thor circle symbolizes the acquisition of power. Uchiha Qiye pointed to the sky, and after the brief wind and light clouds, dark clouds suddenly covered the country. The country of water was originally foggy, but the thick black clouds were like a beacon of fire. In this cloud and mist, the real Thor looks like Zeus from the sky, the thunder and lightning in his hand is the authority in Zeus's hand, and he threw it to Uchiha Qiye at once. What Uchiha Qiye holds in his hand is the Thor's sword, the real Thor's sword. But after a while, the sun in the sky seemed to be in the middle of the sky, an array of golden light shone on the earth, and the thunder god in the clouds gave Uchiha Qiye the authority of thunder and lightning. Although he bowed his head slightly above the sky, kneeling down on one knee, he slowly disappeared. This scene, everyone understood. Shen Zan became the man who conquered Thor. He was not only a god himself, but also the head of the gods. What did I see? Am I watching a movie? 35. My god, the god of war has conquered Thor, and he is the true incarnation of thunder. I finally understand the meaning of what Shen Zan said just now. There is a world of difference between conquering gods and being blessed by gods. Uchiha Qiye holds the power of thunder and lightning in his hand, and if he waving it casually, it will fly sand and stone, and the sky and the earth will tremble. Chapter 264 Playing the difference between true gods and false gods. Chapter 264 Playing the difference between true gods and false gods. He is surrounded by golden thunder and lightning armor, and his image is exactly the same as that of Thor. Shen Zan said, do you understand now, the little pet blessed by me? Cloud Shinobi looked at everything in front of him in amazement, which was completely beyond his cognition, even completely beyond his imagination. How could it be possible that these ninjas who practice lightning style, the god of thunder who knelt down day and night, were already conquered and controlled by the battle of gods in front of them? That represents the supreme authority of thunder and lightning, and it is actually in the hands of the battle of gods, which is simply a humiliation to the ninjas who have cultivated lightning style in their entire lives. No matter how hard they try, it is impossible for them to surpass the battle of gods that is completely above Thor. No, I don't believe it, it's impossible. Cloud Shinobi thought for a moment that it was all an illusion, that he must have been cast an illusion by God War, so he didn't believe everything in front of him, because it was not scientific at all. The wind and thunder sword in Cloud Shinobi's hand burst into a very strong light, and the whole person rushed over like crazy. The chakra in his body is unreservedly on the wind and thunder sword. I hope this sword can wipe out the opponent's machete. Let him know that all this is indeed an illusion, and Shenzhen is a big liar. This sword has overwhelming power. But Uchiha Qiye, who has incarnated into Thor, is not in a hurry at all. What is suppression? What is invincibility in a certain field? Advertisement Uchiha Kai's Thor authority is always the strongest weapon in lightning style, and there is no one at all. This is absolutely unreasonable to you. Thunder God's authority exudes the power of lightning style that destroys the sky and the earth. He holds the authority with both hands and slashes with Cloud Shinobi's wind and thunder sword. Bang! The picture in front of him had the power of a destructive explosion, a true god and a false god. For a while, the earth shook and the mountains swayed, the sky changed, and it was like destroying the sky and destroying the earth. The rumbling sound was incessant, and it took more than 10 seconds before everything gradually quieted down. After the thick smoke gradually faded away, the true truth was revealed. The Thunder God authority in Uchiha Kai's hands was unscathed and still exuding incomparable power. For flowers. On the other side, Cloud Shinobi has lost all his armor, and all the lightning-style power on his body has disappeared. His mouth is spitting blood, his lips are white, and his originally shining eyes have become dull at this time, and the only thing left is horrified and unbelievable. Cloud Shinobi's originally long hair stood up at this time due to the bombardment of thunder and lightning, coupled with his terrifying eyes, as if he had been greatly stimulated by neuropathy. He stood up staggeringly and stepped back swayingly, because the battle of gods in front of him was the living Thor that they would worship day and night, and his beliefs completely collapsed at this moment. People control the gods, and lightning style is just one of the chakras of the Grand Master. The divine power of their pursuers of the kingdom of thunder and lightning, worships God every day, and it is not as good as a casual play in the battle of the gods. What kind of battle between people is this? It is simply a high-dimensional creature, and the glance and crushing of the low-dimensional creature even reveals a sarcastic taste. Chapter 265 Pretend to be the same. Chapter 265 Pretend to be the same. The living Thor was just like a portrait used to mock their weakness and ignorance. Cloud Shinobi, who has always been pampered and lived in the admiration and invincible pursuit of everyone, is about to become the shadow ninja of the Kingdom of Thunder. Crazy. He was real, completely mad, and kept mumbling, I don't believe it, I don't believe it, it's impossible, it's definitely not, 823, possible, 99. Cloud Shinobi held his head and ran out of the arena like crazy, disappearing into the crowd. The referee, who has always been fair and impartial, arrived late, because the dirt pit that had been raised during the fight just now buried him, and it took him a while to climb out of it. He walked to the side of the Battle of Gods, raised his hand, and announced, the Battle of Gods, victory. The audience just woke up from the shock just now, and now, all of them have become fans of Uchiha Qiye and roared one after another. God War is too awesome. Advertisement, God War is the incarnation of God. I have a hunch that the whole world will be this young man in the future. Exclamations and exclamations rushed towards Uchiha Qiye like a tsunami. He could only suspect that the system was going to be broken when he heard all sorts of tricks sounding constantly in his mind. Added 8,888, 99 points of pretending, added 9,999 to pretend point. Add 7,777, 35 wave after wave of rigging points poured in as if they didn't want money. He probably counted them, and he almost won nearly 80,000 rigging points in the Country of Light, which is the largest since using the system. A wave of harvest. The referee was used to Uchiha Qiye not needing to rest at all, but he seemed to have used up a lot of chakra in the battle just now, so he asked with concern, does Mr. Shenzhen need a rest? Shenzhen was still pretending to be aggressive, turned around and faced the audience and said, I don't need a break to deal with these little guys. Advertisement, you must know that this group of people participating in the competition are all leaders from all countries, the hope of the younger generation, but for Uchiha Qiye, they are just a group of children. If that's the case, then there is the last challenger left, Shuiji of the Snow Country. This is a woman with a delicate face and a temperament like a hibiscus in the water. As the Snow Princess of the Snow Country, she is actually the daughter of the Snow Country, and she enjoys a lofty prestige in the Snow Country. The fair skin and the icy beauty lingering on her face have become the objects of love among men in the entire Snow Country. But Shuiji's temperament is very arrogant, and that expression of refusing others thousands of miles away makes most men intimidated and dare not approach at all. After seeing all the battles of Uchiha Qiye, Shuiji still had a calm and composed expression, as if she was not frightened by the pervert strength displayed by Uchiha Qiye at all. The referee turned his head and glanced at Shuiji and said, the following 2.9 is invited, Shuiji of the Snow Country. There are almost no female fans of Shuiji, but her glamorous reputation has spread throughout the ninja world. Half of the audience who came to the arena are men, and they are all fans of Shuiji. I finally saw a real person, it's even more beautiful than I imagined. She is my dream lover, and it is said that she is also a top expert. Chapter 266 Shuiji, who is under one person and over 10,000 people. Chapter 266 Shuiji, who is under one person and over 10,000 people. Uchiha Qiye glanced at the woman named Shuiji, and it really gave people a feeling of being pure and clean. Shuiji walked in front of the stage, wearing a white dress that didn't seem to be here for a fight at all. Her body was spotless, it was hard to give the impression of being strong, but what she said was even more forceful than Uchiha Qiye. Although your strength 14 is very strong, you are useless in front of water style in the Snow Country. The country of snow is known for its water style, which is a country with ice and snow, but the country's shadow ninja, water ninja has an unattainable water style blood sacrifice boundary, so ordinary people can't conquer the city at all. Shuiji inherited the boundaries of the blood sacrifice that Shadow Ninja had inherited, so in the position where her strength is only weighing to succeed Shadow Ninja, it can be said that it is under one person and above 10,000 people. Uchiha Qiye glanced up and down at Shuiji, she never expected such a beautiful woman to speak so arrogantly. It's not that she is arrogant, there is some absolute confidence in her own strength between her words, as if the words that come out of her mouth, no matter how they explain it, give people a feeling that it is like this. Uchiha Qiye said, how dare you say such a thing, it's not that I can't fight women. If you admit defeat, I won't embarrass you, but if you insist on going to war with me, I will do my best to fight against women. You are eye-opening. Shuiji neither sneered nor did she want to continue talking to Uchiha Qiye, but said simply and clearly, let's show you the real water style, and then you will know how fragile your abilities are within the boundaries of blood sacrifice. Advertisement at this time, the referee saw that the two of them were pretending to be forced. After completing a warm-up exercise, he stepped forward and said to the audience, this is the last game in the Land of Water arena, and the winner will win here. This battle is sure to be the finale. Because the country of water holds a competition every year, some gold diggers also breed at this time, and some people are secretly betting on the competition. The ratio has actually risen to 10 to 1, because people think that Shenzhen is absolutely invincible, so they are betting on Shenzhen. As long as he wins, then these people can make money. In short, almost no one put their bets on Shuiji, because it seemed that she was just a weak woman. With the referee's order, the two started the official game. Terumi Mei and the boss of the 7 ninja swordsmen, Terumi Mei, who were in the waiting room, were watching the last game carefully, and this game was of great significance. The Kingdom of Snow has always had a bad relationship with the Kingdom of Water, because they are both good at water ninjas, and Terumi Mei and the Kingdom of Snow's shadow ninja Shui Mei have also fought many times, and they are no different at all. And Shuiji completely inherited Shui Mei's blood sacrifice boundary, so Shuiji's strength can represent the current Shui Mei to a certain extent. From this point of view, careful observation of Shui Ji at this time will naturally lead to more understanding of Shui Mei, which will add more materials for the Kingdom of Water to win the Kingdom of Snow in the future. After the referee's order, Shui Ji launched the attack first, and the speed of the knot in her hand was also extremely fast, and every time she cast a ninjutsu, there would be a faint freezing point ripple on her fingers. Chapter 267 God War shows the profound truth of water style and fire style. Chapter 267 God War shows the profound truth of water style and fire style. Uchiha Qiye knew that she was a veritable master when she saw her movements, because every time she cast a spell, some chakra overflowed, proving that her chakra was very sufficient, and she mastered the essence of water style. Ice Burst. It turns out that Shui Ji's master of water style has completely broken through the structure of water, but can directly turn water into ice cubes in a crystalline state. I saw bursts of ice thorns explode from Uchiha Kai's body, and Uchiha Qiye also took out the blade of the Thunder Spirit in his hand and cut through the thorns against the sharp ice. Bang bang, with Uchiha Kai's dance-like figure, all the ice cubes shattered under his sword. Uchiha Qiye asked, "That's it? This attack doesn't even make me feel warmed up." Shui Ji's hand gradually transformed into a long sword god. The sword was cast from crystals, and there were dragon patterns climbing on it naturally. Uchiha Qiye is also knowledgeable. After taking a look at her sword, he asked, "Water Dragon Sword? It turns out that you have also received the blessing of the god of water style." After showing the Water Dragon Sword, Shui Ji said coldly, "Let you experience the real water style." Under the command of one sword, 3 water dragons sprang out from the body of the sword. After these water dragons came out, there was a slight chill in the audience, and it was conceivable how much the temperature had dropped. Advertisement in the face of the roaring attack of the water dragon, Uchiha Qiye has always been indifferent. The chakra on his body is running fast, and the speed of printing in seconds in his hand is extremely fast. Fire style, great fireball technique. Attacking water with fire is the instinct of almost all ninjas, and Uchiha Qiye is no exception. The huge fireball technique directly hedged against the 3 water dragons, but the water dragons seemed to be in a no-man's land, and directly evaporated the fireballs out of thin air, unable to stop their offensive at all. Seeing this scene, everyone became nervous in their hearts. The previous battle of gods can be said to be invincible and invincible. Any of his attacks can knock down the opponent, and it has never been resolved by the opponent. And this time, the great fireball technique was successfully beaten by Shui Ji's ice dragon and vanished. However, this is just the beginning. After seeing the great fireball spell being dispersed, God War continued to release fire spells, fire style, storm dance. Just when the 3 ice dragons were about to arrive in front of Uchiha Qiye, they released a level fire style and the storm danced wildly. In between, a raging fire ignited around the arena, and suddenly it converged into a storm. A fiery storm blew up, and banged directly towards the 3 ice dragons. It directly split the ice dragon into pieces and turned it into a burst of water vapor. 1. The money is good. Until this time, people realized that not only the 3 types of chakra ninjutsu, but also the fire style, there is probably no second person in this ninja world. Shui Ji frowned and asked, "Shenzan, you are really a weirdo. Are you a grandmaster of all chakra ninjutsu attributes?" Up to now, Uchiha Qiye has shown fire style, lightning style, earth style, wind style. All 4 kinds of chakra are familiar. Chapter 268 The King of Ninjutsu is actually water style. Chapter 268 The King of Ninjutsu is actually water style. Shadow Ninja in this world has no such ability at all. Therefore, the identity of Uchiha Qiye has gradually become a legendary figure. Uchiha Qiye shrugged his shoulders and said, "What's so difficult about this? Gold, wood, water, fire, soil, gold, water, wood, fire, gold, and so on, and so on." People in the world don't know the trick, so they think they only 1 or 2 or 3 kinds can be used, but in fact, everyone can use the chakra ninjutsu of all the attributes of Grandmaster. These words will be written into the history of the ninja world, because Uchiha Qiye uttered the truth of this world with one mouthful of 823. The chakras of these attributes are actually interchangeable, and people don't know how to enlighten them. Shui Ji could not understand. Maybe what he said made sense, but now the biggest problem is to destroy Uchiha Qiye. Okay, then according to what you said, you only have water style left to use. Do you have the ability to use your water style to compare with me? Shui Ji is using the aggressive technique, and also wants Uchiha Qiye to show the last chakra ninjutsu that everyone has never seen him use, water style. If he really, is even a grandmaster in water style, it means that God War is a generalist with all the chakra attributes of grandmaster. Cannot be said to be an all-rounder. This is a veritable genius. When it comes to water style, Terumi Mei, who has been sitting in the lounge all the time, has a twinkle in her eyes, because as the owner of the blood sacrifice boundary of water style, she really wants to see how strong this battle of gods is for water style. Comprehension. Uchiha Qiye smiled lightly and said, "The reason why I don't use water style is because water style is the first of the 5 attributes and is the king of all methods. Once you use water style, you will be instantly killed." Advertisement. Although this man has always liked to brag, everyone has become accustomed to the personality of Shenzan, who loves to pretend, and the strength he shows is completely worthy of his brag. Shui Ji glanced at the battle. She thought it was absolutely impossible. "Okay, since you said that, I want to see how capable you are." As soon as she finished speaking, she saw that Shenzan was filled with water vapor, and there was a faint water dragon lingering around him. Seeing this scene in the eyes of others, they only thought that it must be very powerful, but in Shuiji's eyes, it showed shock. That water dragon was different from the moves Shuiji used, it was the soul of the dragon, not just the dragon shape of Shuiji. Uchiha Qiye said, "Water is the mother of all things, nourishes all things, and is the only cause of life, so it is the king of all dharmas and the causation of all dharmas. Master's true meaning of water is invincible in the world." Although these nerve-wracking words can be understood by others, they always feel like false words. Uchiha Qiye continued, "If you are sure to let me use water style, then I will show you what a real water style is. Water style, hydration technique." With an order, the dragon soul that was entangled in Uchiha Kai's body suddenly burst out, and instantly penetrated into Shuiji's body. At this time, Uchiha Kai's hand, which was presented as a palm, suddenly clenched into a fist, kill. The moment Uchiha Qiye shouted the killing sound, Shuiji froze instantly, her eyes widened and she glanced at Uchiha Qiye in surprise. Chapter 269 What is the ultimate meaning? Chapter 269 What is the ultimate meaning? The speed of speech became slower and slower. Shenzan. How did you do it? Word by word, it seems that the response has become slow. Uchiha Qiye said, 70% of the human body is made up of water, and the essence of water style is the breath of water in the master. Since the Grandmaster water style, you can grasp all water, including the water in your body. I just put all the blood in your body just stopped flowing. As soon as these words came out, everyone in the audience was stunned. It turns out that water style can still be used in this way. It directly grasps the lifeblood of the enemy. No wonder Uchiha Qiye said that water style is the real king. And as far as the ninjas in this world know, no one can control the water in another person's body at all. If there is, wouldn't it be invincible in the world? Terumi Mei, who was sitting in the lounge, stood up all of a sudden. She looked at all this in surprise. Originally, Terumi Mei thought she was the one who got the essence of water style. It is a real three-pointer, grasping the true meaning of water style. How to fight against such power? If God War really wants to kill everyone here, as long as you use water style, you can easily and effortlessly control everyone. It is so powerful, it is simply incredible, and it is simply an irreversible existence awe. But for a few seconds, Shuiji was frozen in there like a lump of ice, and she seemed to be motionless like a statue. If it takes another minute, it will definitely freeze to death, but Uchiha Qiye has no murderous intention at all. He just showed Shuiji the most quintessential meaning of water style. So Shenzan's hand that was clenching his fist suddenly released, "Take it." Advertisement. The dragon soul of water was withdrawn from Shuiji's body at once, but Shuiji's complexion gradually recovered after a few seconds, and her body movements gradually became normal. Obviously, if it wasn't for Shenzan's mercy, Shuiji would have become a veritable popsicle. Even now, Shuiji was still trembling. She said, shaking her frozen body, "I admit defeat, you win." In this way, the referee stepped forward and directly raised Uchiha Kai's arm and said, "God battle, become the champion of the new ninja contest in the land of water." 35. For flowers, what awaits Uchiha Qiye is a large trance. It can be said that this man called God War has perfectly completed the competition of crushing all the challengers. This battle will be remembered by everyone and become the insurmountable crown of the ninja world arena. God War is indeed invincible in the world. What kind of youth level is this? No one can beat this in Jonan's game. 35. Thank you, Lord Shenzan, for letting me win a lot of money. God is invincible. We will always love you. 99. The audience at the scene had reached a state of madness, eager to rush up to Apprentice directly, and there were even many people who wanted to get closer to their idols despite the security's obstruction. However, the security work of the Land of Water is still in place. The two Jonins are in the lineup, and there are many Chunins blocking them. With zero casualties, the urge of tens of thousands of fanatic fans to get close to their idols is blocked. This battle was fought directly from dawn to dusk, and now the moon is hanging high in the sky, and after half an hour of blocking, the earth is smashed. Chapter 270 What does a heaven-defying palace look like? Chapter 270 What does a heaven-defying palace look like? The crowd also gradually walked out of the arena. However, the name of Shenzan has been spread in the mouths of all the countries of water. He believes that this person will inevitably become a legendary figure in the ninja world in the future. What's more, Shenzan is a god of war who descends from the sky and will rule the entire ninja world in the future. Because the winner will get the Snow Lotus, but the Snow Lotus is extremely precious, so the August 23rd award will not be shown in front of everyone, but will invite the Battle of Gods to the Palace of the Country of Water, and be given by Shuiji herself. So after Shenzan finished the ring, he was received by the Land of Water and brought him all the way to Terumi Mei's palace. As soon as he stepped into the palace, Uchiha Qiye felt the wealth of the Land of Water, which was even more magnificent than the Land of the Land and the Palace of Konoha. As soon as you enter, you will see a dazzling array of oil paintings by famous artists. You can sell them for priceless prices if you take them out. The ground is made of silver, and every pillar used to support them is all pure gold. And many of the chairs are actually inlaid with luxurious diamonds, and the blankets on the ground even have gold trimmings. Walking on the pure wool carpets is actually a feeling of enjoyment. The lights in the hall give people a charming and soft feeling, and all they can see are the taste of money, but they also contain profound cultural foundation. It can be said that Uchiha Qiye really felt the wealth of the country of water, and it can be said that he is a big country that can exist side by side with the country of fire. Advertisement. Although Uchiha Qiye is a member of the country of fire, from a standpoint, he has long since left the standpoint of his own country, but is standing in the macro perspective of the world. After all, he is the existence of Ishin who wants to save the world. After walking through Man's promenade, he finally entered the core of the palace. After welcoming the guests and opening the door, Uchiha Qiye could be considered the ninja of the land of water, Terumi Mei. At this time, Yingbin withdrew, and there were 10 people in the whole room. In addition to Terumi Mei and Uchiha Qiye, there was Taudi Zebuchu, the man who always followed Terumi Mei. The cosmic wave Qiye was not arrogant at this time, and looked at Terumi Mei with a calm expression. Out of courtesy, Uchiha Qiye shrugged and said, "It's good, thank you." Uchiha Qiye took the snow lotus with one hand. This action was unprecedented, because all the winners were able to witness Terumi Mei with their own eyes. It was already a great honor. But Uchiha Qiye, who has always been arrogant and likes to pretend, has the habit of picking up things with both hands, and using one hand is enough to save face. He held the snow lotus with a look of scrutiny on his face. A refreshing fragrance made Uchiha Qiye feel a sense of tranquility. This snow lotus contains a strong chakra, which can not only enhance strength, but also heal all wounds instantly. So this thing is a real treasure, and Uchiha Qiye is still satisfied, but it's nothing more than that. Terumi Mei said to Uchiha Qiye out of the courtesy of Shinobi, God War, you have proved yourself with your own strength, and Shualian is a reward for you. Surrounded by several Jonin, he took the snow lotus from Terumi Mei's hand and handed it to Uchiha Qiye. Chapter 271 The Only Man Who Amazes Terumi Mei Chapter 271 The Only Man Who Amazes Terumi Mei. After finishing speaking, Uchiha Qiye turned around and wanted to leave, because he thought that the pretense point of harvesting in the land of water was almost there, and it was almost meaningless to stay here. Another important purpose of his is to find the magic circle left by Mi Hong in the land of water. The ninja competition in the land of water has been held for 50 years, and every time the person who gets the snow lotus in the land of water will be grateful to Terumi Mei, or at least thank him. And I have never seen someone like Uchiha Qiye just say thank you and leave the next day. This kind of anger will not be tolerated by anyone, especially in the land of water in the ninja world, where Terumi Mei's originally beautiful face instantly turned ashen, but because of her identity, it is not easy to attack at all. At this moment, the Kisame sword in Taudi Zebujan suddenly burst into a chakra flash, which was a sign that he was going to fight. Terumi Mei, who has always understood that Taudi will not cut his temper and personality, still held him indistinctly, implying that he should not reveal his murderous intentions now. Although when they saw that Uchiha Qiye showed the strength of heaven-defying level, and saw that his profound knowledge of water style was far above the land of water and the land of snow, Terumi Mei was a little surprised. If he wants to take this guy called God War for his own use, if he really wants, then the country of water can definitely rule the entire ninja world. But if God War works for others, it will definitely become a nightmare for the water country. Advertisement I haven't had a good talk with Shenzan yet. It's really inappropriate to rashly act rough. Terumi Mei looked at Shenzan's back, restrained her heart, and finally blocked her exit. God Battle came to our country of water and left after winning the championship. It's really a pity. Terumi Mei spoke out to hold back, looking at Shenzan's back seriously, expecting him to turn around and have a good talk with her. Hearing this, Uchiha Qiye said that he was a pity, but he didn't know what it was a pity, because he had no interest in these shrimp soldiers and crab generals, but no one said so, so out of curiosity, he turned to look at glance at Terumi Mei. I hadn't carefully observed this woman before. As the ninja of the land of water, she looked young, her skin was well maintained, and there was a fiery spring love between her eyebrows and eyes. She was really a beauty embryo. Compared with Genji in the land of the land, her appearance and temperament still have a bit of atmosphere. So Uchiha Qiye put his hands around his chest and asked after a brief glance, excuse me, what's the pity of my God War? 823 Once other people are curious, then things may go on. Terumi Mei secretly rejoiced and said to Uchiha Qiye, God's-on, we have something to talk about slowly, please sit down. Uchiha Qiye sees that he is a ninja and treats him so politely. If he walks away rashly, he will appear to be a little petty. Seeing a table of delicacies prepared by them, it would be a pity not to eat them. Anyway, chat with them while eating, if you feel good, maybe you can give them some pointers. As soon as it comes, let it go. Uchiha Qiye thought about it for a while. Chapter 272 The First Time to Learn from the Peach Land. Chapter 272 The First Time to Learn from the Peach Land. Afterwards, he walked to the seat of honored guest on his own, and then glanced at Terumi Mei. In the palace, there are many natural etiquettes, but what Uchiha Qiye hates most is the red tape. Of course Terumi Mei knew Shenzan's personality, so she nodded slightly, stretched out her arm and said, please sit down. So Uchiha Qiye sat in the seat of honored guest, but sat on an equal footing with Terumi Mei. Seeing this scene, Taudi Zebujan's eyes were obviously a little embarrassed, because Uchiha Qiye and Terumi Mei were sitting on an equal position, but he sat down, obviously directly surpassed by Uchiha Qiye in terms of status. Who can bear this? But there is no way. Now we can't start the snake, in case the War of Gods is willing to be used by the country of water. Terumi Mei said, the dishes here are all special products of the land of water, and the highest ceremonial equipment of the palace is prepared for heroes. Uchiha Qiye felt that the shadow ninja was polite, so he nodded and said with a smile, thank you for the hospitality, the land of water is really warm and welcoming. So a few people started to eat, the waiter poured the wine, and a few people began to push the cups for a change. As soon as Uchiha Qiye took a sip, he felt that it was a fine wine, and felt that this wine was more mellow than the wine he had ever drunk. Advertisement, so he said, good wine, I have long heard that the country of water has the best winemaking technology in the world, and because the geographical environment of the country of water is very suitable for winemaking, it is indeed better to see it once 100 times are heard, which is really memorable. After Uchiha Qiye came to the land of water, he went all the way to pretend to be forced to the end. This is the first time to hear the praise, and Terumi Mei thinks that there may be drama. So he said tentatively, Mr. Shenzhen, our country of water lacks everything, that is, there is no shortage of wine. If Shenzhen is satisfied, you can live in our country of water for a long time, and there is absolutely enough wine. The clever Uchiha Qiye seemed to have heard the words, they were cherishing their own talents. So he said, I don't know who my parents are, and I don't have any nationality boundaries. I'm more used to being a family from all over the world. It's too annoying to live in a country of water for a long time. Thank you. 35. Of course Uchiha Qiye is not interested in this, no country can keep him, he is the one who wants to save the world. How can the guy who harvests all over the world pretend to be your staff? Of course Terumi Mei understood what it meant, so she said, Shenzhen sees the registered age as 20 years old. At such a young age, you have a proud ability. Who do you learn from? Uchiha Qiye smiled and replied, I am a natural-born person, and my ability is also obtained from the realization of the Tao. But he is still lonely. These words not only completely concealed their identity, but also a little arrogant, money is good, and ridicule. The ridicule is naturally that there is no one in the country of water, and from an obscure point of view, I despise the country of water, and I don't want to stay at all for myself. Here's a foreshadowing. This kind of remark made Terumi Mei lose face a bit. It is true that the contestants of the land of water from start to finish couldn't even move Uchiha Kai's toes, so it was inevitable to be despised by others. Of course she has nothing to say, but this is only for the same age group, if you look at the whole country of water. Chapter 273 Never humiliate the 7 people. Chapter 273 Never humiliate the 7 people. Naturally a bit arrogant. At this time, Touty, who has been simmering on fire, can't sit still if he doesn't cut it, so he turned his eyes to Uchiha Qiye and said, Mr. Give some pointers to you younger generation, so that you, who are lonely, have something to rely on. 99. Naturally, such a conversation had a taste of gunpowder. Terumi Mei naturally did not intend to stop it, but just looked at Uchiha Qiye secretly, wanting to see how he answered. Uchiha Qiye is also a person, of course, he is a dragon and a phoenix among people. Naturally, he has tasted the meaning behind this person's words, that is, he does not look down on Uchiha Kai's ability. Some of them are experts in the country of water, and they can teach him a lesson by pulling one out. Be his master. Uchiha Qiye suddenly smelled the resources of pretending to be coercive. As long as someone pretended to be coercive to him, he couldn't help but want to slap his face. So Uchiha Qiye smiled and said, You are the boss of the small swordsman, and you won't cut the peach land again? Can someone in your country give me some advice? 99. Touty stood up without chopping, and there was already a 3-point anger in his eyes. He couldn't get used to this battle of gods for a long time. Originally, Zhao Mingmei wanted to include this battle of gods, but if he was not skilled enough, how could such an arrogant person be submissive to a minister? Therefore, someone must be able to subdue him. If he is not subdued, he can only be destroyed, although it may cost a lot of money. Advertisement Touty didn't stop seeing Terumi Mei and didn't stop her, so she naturally understood what it meant. The long-term cooperative relationship had already understood each other's hearts. Touty Zaibuzan said, Shenzhen, I warn you, the 7 ninja swordsmen in the land of water are not something you can humiliate. If you think it is convenient, why don't we try it a little bit, BECJ? Here, of course but it's not convenient to be your master. If you're injured, you don't need to cry. Uchiha Qiye was neither annoyed nor annoyed, he was still sitting in his place and savoring the unique wine of the land of water. His eyelids were not lifted, and his movements were full of contempt for the peach land. So he said, Okay, you naturally use all your strength, if I stand up, even if I lose. 39. There were still more than a dozen Jonin watching on the spot, and they all sat in their secondary positions. Although these people also watched the entire process of Uchiha Kai's game, they knew that he was very strong, but they didn't think he even stood up. You don't need to be able to fight against the leader of the famous organization, Touty Zabuzai. Touty enjoys a lofty reputation in the land of water, and seeing Uchiha Qiye irritating him so much, naturally he can't hold back his face. The words have already been said for this sake, and if the peach land is not cut, there is no room to keep it. He said, Shenzhen, if you have to be so arrogant, walk out of the gate of the water country, don't say that I will never bully people again. Momochi's anger erupted, and he pulled out the Kisame great sword that made countless ninjas terrified. No matter whether this big sword has killed the enemy or not, even if it is intercepted by the opponent's weapon, it can easily absorb the opponent's chakra. This is a sword full of spirituality, and the decoration on it is very particular. Advertisement Chapter 274 The Excitement of Kisame Great Sword. Chapter 274 The Excitement of Kisame Great Sword. The Kisame Great Sword is a sword designed to suck chakra like crazy. The more chakra it has, the stronger its power will be. The Kisame Great Sword was full of fighting momentum as soon as it was pulled out of its scabbard. This spiritual sword naturally knew who its enemy was. At this time, the blade of Kisame's great sword trembled slightly, because he could feel that the chakra in Uchiha Kai's body was extremely full, and it was particularly pure. This kind of chakra with great energy and pure is the favorite of Kisame's great sword. As the owner of Kisame's great sword, Momoji Zaibuzan certainly understood the meaning of his sword, and he must obtain the chakra owned by Uchiha Qiye and let his sword taste well. After taking another sip of wine, Uchiha Qiye said, "Want my chakra? Then you have to be able to do it. Let the horses come over, let's go." The Kisame sword, which was never cut again, burst out with bloodthirsty rays of light, with a blood-red color surrounding it, and it slashed violently. This time, if Uchiha Qiye resisted, he would be sucked into chakra by Kisame, but if he evaded, he would naturally be extremely embarrassed, blowing the bullshit he just bragged. Everyone was watching how Uchiha Qiye should face it. How could he know that he was still drinking in a hurry, not moving? Even though the Kisame sword was about to touch his hair, he still looked calm. If Taudi didn't slash, he used 80% of his strength, but even if 80% of his strength hit the enemy, it was the strength that immediately wiped out Uchiha Qiye. Advertisement at this moment, Uchiha Qiye raised a finger directly and slammed into the Kisame sword with a bang. Kisami's great sword confronted Uchiha Qiye in the air, and in terms of power comparison, the two were on a par for the time being. But the miraculous thing is that since Kisami's great sword has touched Uchiha Kai's skin, there is no reason not to absorb his chakra. Uchiha Qiye used the other finger, as if teasing, to flick the wide-open Kisame directly, and hit it with a bang, only to see that Kisame was in pain, and after screaming, she retracted her neck, never run out again. In the comparison of strength, Taudi no longer slashed red, as if he had exhausted all his strength. Such a spectacle, all the people present saw the soil for the first time in their lives. But for a while, there was no chakra pouring into the Kisame greatsword, which is very strange. The reason why the Kisame sword has aura is that there is a parasitic spirit in it. There is a Kisame in it, which is sucking the chakra of Uchiha Qiye with its mouth open, but no matter how much I eat it, I can't eat a drop of it. Asterisk asterisk. As the owner of Kisami's great sword, Taudi Zabuzan naturally felt Kisami's anger and helplessness. This was the first time that he couldn't eat chakra when he encountered an enemy. Although he was very surprised, he was very helpless at this time. Matter. Uchiha Qiye looked at it curiously, and asked Momochi, who was out of breath, not to slash, "Your sword really lives up to its name, and there really is a Kisame in it." However, Uchiha Qiye on the other side had an indifferent look in his eyes, without the slightest effort or panic on his face. Instead he looked at Kisami's great sword with some curiosity. Chapter 275 Surprise. Who will control the ups and downs in the first battle of the reservoir? Chapter 275 Surprise. Who will control the ups and downs in the first battle of the reservoir? It turns out that Kisame can still be hit by Uchiha Qiye with his own body in the ghost form of a ghost. So it is conceivable that if Uchiha Qiye is serious, Kisame may be instantly killed, then this great sword will be directly abolished. In this case, it seems that Uchiha Qiye is better. He glanced at the peach, 823, and said in a relaxed tone, "I don't want to let you lose face. If you are wise, get out of my place." Uchiha Kai's hand was wrapped around the water-style barrier, and with a thud, Taudi didn't bounce back. This time, Terumi Mei, who is a water-style expert, of course understands what is going on. Water-style is worthy of being the king of all chakra attributes. It can make water-style an enchantment to prevent all the breath from the outside world from entering, of course, including preventing swallowing your own chakra by Kisame. Water moistens all things, whether it is all sentient or ruthless beings in the world, including invisible beings, of course, it naturally includes the Kisame. Therefore, the water style wrapped around Uchiha Kai's hands can naturally touch Kisame. Of course, ordinary water style ninjas can't do this at all. This requires a complete understanding of the profound meaning of water style and becomes the master of the water soul. Matter. Being flicked so lightly by Uchiha Qiye, Taudi took 2 or 3 steps back without slashing, looking at Uchiha Qiye with a surprised expression. Advertisement, he said, "If the peach land is not cut, we can only click until the palace is here. If we really don't agree, we need to change the time and fight in another venue." 39. Uchiha Qiye looked around. You look at the palace, where gold and silver are the ground, and the glazed pillars are the pillars, all of which are magnificent and magnificent. You are not willing to smash it, right? He said that, if Taudi is not cut, he naturally doesn't want to go further. Even if Taudi is not cut, he already feels ashamed of himself, but it is true that he cannot perform his real kung fu in such a place. Seeing Uchiha Qiye looking a little embarrassed, he must slash the peach land before he cuts it. Why, don't you dare? If you don't dare, just say it directly, but let's not say that there is no one in the land of water. I will not cut the peach land again. The country of water is mediocre. If you don't even dare to fight against me, just leave with your child award. Our country of water will not laugh at you. 3 days? These words have simply applied the aggressive method to ultimate. In terms of pretending to be forceful, this peach land is very talented even if it is not cut. So Uchiha Qiye smiled and said, "If there is a competition, I can fight, but I have a request." If this is the case, isn't the opportunity to harvest the pretense point again? Uchiha Qiye has no reason not to laugh at the pretense point sent by others. So Taudi said without slashing, "The battle of gods is just a little trick. If we really want to fight, we will fight in the reservoir of water China in 3 days. What do you think?" Although Uchiha Qiye is wearing the vest of God's war, as long as he achieves his purpose of pretending to be in this place, he wants to run away, but when he hears that Taudi will not 2.9 slash to declare war on him, and wants to fight in the reservoir, then he will return. There was a large crowd watching the fight. Uchiha Qiye originally wanted to solve the magic circle that Mi Hong left in the land of water tonight, but it seems a bit too long to wait here for 3 days. Chapter 276 Chapter 276 Taudi Zabujan looked at Uchiha Qiye. Since he fought, it means that he can stay with this person for 3 days. These 3 days are very important. Because their biggest purpose is to keep Uchiha Qiye. As long as they can be used by the water country, they will do whatever they can. In the past 3 days, Terumi Mei will keep Uchiha Qiye through various means, so it doesn't matter whether to fight or not, whether to win or lose. Seeing that his goal has been achieved, Taudi said without cutting, "Don't say one request, our country of water can grant you 10 or 8 requests." Uchiha Qiye thought to himself, since he was going to fight, he would fight from the beginning to the end. If Taudi didn't cut it and declared that he was a medium level in the land of water, then there must be a higher level. Just defeating a leader of the 7 ninja swordsmen naturally, it's no big deal. It's fun to single out the entire country of water. This way, the harvest will definitely explode overnight. So Uchiha Qiye said, "I never like to fight boring battles in Shenzhen. Please bring out all the powerhouses in your water country, starting from the moment you don't cut the peach land. I will fight all of them one by one. If I lose to any one of them is at your disposal." Terumi Mei's eyes lit up. Originally, this kind of higher-level decision would not have the authority to decide, so he turned his eyes to Terumi Mei. At this time, Terumi Mei was even more sure of what she was thinking, that to retain talent, the first thing to do is to subdue the talent. As long as someone can win the Battle of Gods, then the martial arts idiots like the Battle of Gods will naturally worship him as a teacher and stay in the land of water. Work for the land of water. Since then, in addition to her Terumi Mei, the land of water has an ultimate killer, but it does not appear at ordinary times, only at extremely critical and important moments. Advertisement. It seems that it is impossible to sell the Battle of Gods without inviting the super expert to come out, but in order to stay in the Battle of Gods, it is worth paying this price. Terumi Mei said, "As the ninja of the land of water, I can make such an arrangement and decision. Since Mr. Shenzhen is eager to find someone who can defeat him, there is no reason for us in the land of water not to accompany him. After 3 days I will send 3 other people besides Taudi Zaifu to ask you for advice. What do you think?" Uchiha Qiye glanced back at Terumi Mei and asked, "Will the other 3 days represent the highest level of the land of water?" Terumi Mei nodded and said, "You are innocent. As long as Mr. Shenzhen can defeat all 3 of them, then our country of water will honor you as the country, and you will have the highest authority in the entire country of water, and you will be with me. The permissions are the same." Those words simply stunned everyone. Those Jonin, who were still watching the reception in the house, widened their eyes and said directly, "Kinanen. Unbearable. King Ninja, please think twice." Even the prudent and scheming Taudi looked at Terumi Mei in disbelief. If the Battle of Gods really won, then our country of water would have become a country that this young man played casually. How could this be? Can they be accepted? So Taudi said without slashing, "Forbearance. Such an important decision, please talk about it through the meeting of the Presbyterian Church." However, Terumi Mei is Terumi Mei. In fact, she thought very clearly. Chapter 277. How can you don't give me the pretend? Chapter 277. How can you don't give me the pretend? If Shenzhen has a force that is stronger than anyone in the country of water, then his force can definitely disdain the entire ninja world, which will be an invincible existence. Naturally, it is impossible for Terumi Mei's subordinate to send casually to the country of water, but if such an invincible person wants to be the enemy of the country of water, then the country of water will inevitably end up destroying the country if such a powerful person is provoked. In order to avoid such a tragedy, it is better to use the power of a country to become God's own resources. In this way, the country of water is equivalent to the light of God's war in disguise, and God's war will of course automatically protect its own resources. In this way, it is just that the Battle of God is not used by Terumi Mei in form, and its core is completely equivalent to recruiting the Battle of God. Since then, no matter whether the highest combat power of the water country can defeat the Battle of Gods, this person has become the turtle in the urn, and the water country will always be in a good state. I have to say that Terumi Mei's move is very risky, but it has the sharpest and most long-term vision of a politician. Those ignorant warriors only know how to use military force, and they are not as powerful as Terumi Mei's wisdom. So Terumi Mei said, "Don't fight, since you want to duel, you must show fairness and sincerity. Mr. Shenzhen, what do you think?" At this time, Uchiha Qiye thought very simply, if he could defeat all the masters in the land of water, then the PowerPoint would not just be a simple explosive growth of defeating a peach land, but also a huge wave of geometric growth. This is closer to the Aina evil beauty he wants. He doesn't care about the country of water, the country of fire, those are nothing. He has no national position at all. Uchiha Qiye only has a world position and a pretending position, and nothing else. So Uchiha Qiye said, "The shadow ninja of the land of water is indeed a woman and a man. I admire it very much. Since the words have already been said, there is no reason for me to refuse. After 3 days, I will be with the water. Fight against the nation's highest level ninjas, and live or die. This is a must. This is not as simple as a competition, but a duel. A simple fist-fighting battle will be blinded, let alone a super standard ninjutsu duel. If you kill someone by mistake, it is a very common thing. Matter." Terumi Mei nodded. "See you at the reservoir in 3 days. Please stay in the dormitory that our country of water has prepared for Mr. Shenzhen." After he finished speaking, Uchiha Qiye left. Naturally, a servant led the way for him. When he went out, the entire palace was silent, because this matter was so important that it would inevitably become the entire ninja world. Focus event. Uchiha Qiye finally walked out. It was almost early morning. Looking at the sky full of stars and full of moonlight, Uchiha Qiye was very excited. Isn't it the highest combat power of the country of water? He is a godhead with the eyes of eternity, and completely surpasses the existence of the dimensional laws of the entire world. No matter what kind of master he is just casual, beat. Uchiha Qiye will do whatever he can as long as he can harvest the pretense point. This is the first time he has the opportunity to get the pretense point delivered to his door. Don't do it for nothing. After leaving the palace, Uchiha Qiye came to the bedroom given to him by Terumi Mei, and its luxurious style was even more comfortable than the palace. Chapter 278 The rich rely on technology, the poor rely on upgrading. Chapter 278 The rich rely on technology, the poor rely on upgrading. A person lives in a luxurious 500 square meter palace, with only 7 or 8 rooms. Uchiha Kai's bedroom is 100 square meters. It looks very luxurious in the past. He really didn't know how the Land of Water was so rich. It was said that the snow lotus of the Land of Water was not only used to reward the contestants, but could produce hundreds of them every year, and each one was worth a fortune. Of course, there are many ninja families who need snow lotus to supplement chakra and improve their own cultivation. They must be yearning for this kind of special product of the country of water. Often ninja families are rich and powerful, so they are naturally casual about this kind of thing. Money to buy. And those ninjas who have no money can only get a snow lotus that they yearn for through competition. Even a group of people squeezed their heads, making people unable to find the north, and only when they got the first place, might get one. That's it, isn't it still monopolized by the ninja family and the heirs prepared by the shadow ninjas of various countries? As for those little-known figures, unless they accidentally obtain the blood sacrifice boundary, it is absolutely impossible to get such an opportunity, and they will never taste what the priceless snow lotus is like in a lifetime. Therefore, it is feasible in any world to say that the rich rely on technology and the poor rely on upgrading. BECJ. Uchiha Qiye was lying on the big bed, and the whole person was very relaxed, because with the blessing of the eternal eye, he could know whether there was a hidden surveillance monitor in his room just by opening his eyes. Nothing at all. Uchiha Qiye was only going to sleep here for a few days, and he didn't need anything at all. How could he know that they would spend such a long time, and I felt a little embarrassed. The maid smiled slightly, nodded and said, "My name is Lina. You can tell me anything you need. I can meet all the requirements of the Battle of the Gods." According to legend, when you talk, you must pretend to be forceful. Uchiha Qiye, who doesn't pretend to be silent, has also learned the tone of a normal person. It's not his fault. After all, pretending to be forceful is so cool. The system of coercion can be addicted to anyone. That said, although Uchiha Qiye doesn't have any idea about some aspects of things, when he hears this, he always feels. However, there are 3 maids in Uchiha Kai's bedroom. They are responsible for Uchiha Kai's daily life, from moving furniture to small daily chores, all of which are arranged by them. Among the several women dangling in front of Uchiha Qiye, 2 of them withdrew, leaving behind the foreman who thought he was in a good posture. After seeing that he had finished his work, he walked up to Uchiha Qiye and said, "Mr. Shenzhen, what else is there? Do you need?" In this respect, the Land of Water is more tolerant than the Land of Earth. Even if the upper echelons of the Land of Water are still suspicious of the origin of the identity of the God of War, and they are highly vigilant, they will not conduct any surveillance on him. So he shook his head and said, "No need, it's all your hard work." No, not long after he moved in, these maids had already arranged all the furniture in Uchiha Kai's bedroom, and moved in some tables, chairs and benches, and they looked even more splendid. At first glance, they looked like their own home. Chapter 279 The Heart of a Villain. Chapter 279 The Heart of a Villain. There's a strange smell. So he glanced at the man named Lina. He had fair skin and a graceful figure. He belonged to whatever type he wanted. He had a good face and had a temperament that gave off a feeling of a little home Jasper. Many people would like to put it in the pile of men, sought after object. But in Uchiha Kai's eyes, except for his relatives and his mother, all women are just ordinary people, and they don't have any ideas at all. What trick? But he wouldn't take the heart of a villain, the belly of a child. If the family said that it was not what he thought, it would be embarrassing. So Uchiha Qiye asked tentatively, "You mean any need can be?" Lina's originally downcast smiling face, she talked upward in a small way, and when she met Uchiha Kai's handsome scholar portrait, even herself, there was a little wave in her heart. So young, so powerful, and although he looks a little white and tender in appearance, it gives people a tough feeling, especially Uchiha Kai's high nose bridge, which gives people a spirit of pulling mountains and rivers. A man combines the 3 major advantages of image, strength, and age, and they are all at the top level. Probably this is the object that all women flock to. Even Lina is no exception. Although she knows that she has a humble identity, it may not be impossible if she can kiss Shangze. Dreams always have to be done. The night gradually deepened, and it was already past 10 o'clock in the night. Uchiha Qiye looked at the yelling galaxy outside, and a bright moon hung high, realizing that it was a really good day for flowers. After speaking, Lina naturally withdrew, leaving Uchiha Qiye alone in this quiet bedroom. Originally, Lina would have thought that something happened, but Lord Shenzhen had no interest in her at all, which made her feel a little discouraged, but of course she didn't show anything, just said with a little regret, "The long night is long. Lina is waiting outside the door, and you can tell me anything you need." Although Uchiha Qiye had understood what she meant, he still said, "I don't need anything, and I will leave here after 3 days. It's been hard work for you, so please leave." So Lina said shyly, "Yes, all requests are possible. We are arranged in the bedroom of Lord Shenzhen. Then we will be yours from now on, so we are willing to do anything. Today's harvest in the Land of Water is simply a bumper harvest, and he has made a lot of money with even the pretense of turning over the harvest." As soon as Uchiha Qiye heard this, "My dear," the implication was very clear, and he immediately became his person. Uchiha Qiye was amused, but he didn't show it. He just didn't understand how the country of water could treat them like this. Residence, the national style is not quite right, Jin. Uchiha Qiye actually felt that he was being teased, but it didn't matter. He just felt that these people were oppressed and used to it. But so what, it was none of his business. As long as he acted and walked straight, he would not take care of these things. Chapter 280. It turns out that the effect of Snow Lotus is so strong. Chapter 280. It turns out that the effect of Snow Lotus is so strong. So he gradually closed his eyes, and after opening the pretending system, he found that he had added 100,000 pretending points for a whole day. Whether it was prompted at the time or not, the total was already 100,000. However, buying Invincible requires a total of 500,000 pretending points. This is the technique he most eagerly seeks, and he can be called the king of ninjutsu. With this technique, 823 can directly make his own. The fate of the enemy is completely controlled by oneself, but so many pretending points cannot be obtained overnight. There is a long way to go to pretend. Uchiha Qiye thought in his heart that he would continue to work hard. Taking another look at the strongest weapon, it is said that the weapon that can even cut off the dust is called the Sword of Slaughter, which is the killing sword left over from the ancient god tier. It can even cut off the airflow, water flow, and even the flow of air, and all the armor defenses of all things in the world can be shattered like plastic with a single poke in front of the Sword of Slaughter. After obtaining the godhead, Uchiha Qiye has neither a decent magic skill nor a decent artifact, which makes him very distressed. Although his current strength is completely capable of calling for wind and rain in the entire ninja world, he does not need anything. He can destroy any country with a single gesture, and is worshipped by the gods among the people of the ninja world, but that is not the ninja career that Uchiha Qiye wants. He firmly believes that there is no stronger, only the strongest, and one must obtain these supreme magic weapons to be considered a newly qualified god. After thinking about this, Uchiha Qiye finally decided to keep the 100,000 packs for now, and when they got 500,000, they would have to buy the most advanced Invincible directly, and then wait until they got 2 million packs. Buy the killing sword when you are pressed for it. Only in this way can he feel that he has made some progress. Man, when he reaches the peak, it is really hard to go further, but Uchiha Qiye is not afraid of these difficulties. He is only afraid that it will not be fun, and that he can only stay where he is. After slowly opening his eyes, he took out the snow lotus he had been curious about for a long time from his sleeves. Looking at the snow lotus that was transparent and snow white, exuding bursts of faint fragrance, it was really a different kind of noble feeling. Everyone said that Shuilian was a treasure, and Uchiha Qiye was also a little curious, so he ate it in one bite. Sure enough, when you enter it, it gives people a sweet and delicious feeling. The delicious feeling stimulates all the sensory cells in the human mouth, as if floating in the clouds, making people feel fluttering. Such deliciousness can be found in any food. Impossible to taste. Uchiha Qiye enjoyed the taste, then chewed it slowly and swallowed it. As soon as it touched the throat, it gave people a feeling of full swallowing. There was a strong aftertaste between the lips and teeth. After swallowing, the whole process all in the aftertaste. If it wasn't for his idle burden, he really wanted to shout 2.9 immediately, it was so delicious. Whether or not this stuff complements chakra, it's worth the price. After swallowing it, Uchiha Qiye felt warm all over his body, and the chakra in his body was rapidly flowing. The chakra that had been lost due to the fighting of the day was all replenished in just a few seconds. Chapter 281. The most advanced monitoring technique is nothing more than that. Chapter 281. The most advanced monitoring technique is nothing more than that. Uchiha Qiye felt that the chakra of the whole sky and the earth was rapidly approaching him, and the warm current of chakra seemed to see his master pouring into Uchiha Kai's body at once. That warm feeling seemed to be embracing the sea can make people forget all the troubles in this world. After that, after the chakra in Uchiha Kai's body was satisfied, people didn't stop, and the remaining chakra was filling his limbs and bones, and any gaps were all covered, in case of emergency. The structure of the body is also gradually transforming, and the excess impurities in the body are all cleaned up in a while. After a long time, Uchiha Qiye slowly opened his eyes and felt this pure feeling. His strength increased miraculously. Uchiha Qiye finally realized the benefits of this thing. Snow Lotus is really a precious thing. No wonder ninjas from all countries are rushing. In order to get a Snow Lotus, they send the most promising ninja in their own country. So Uchiha Qiye finally understands why the annual competition has lasted for 50 years and is still hot, because the effect of Snow Lotus is simply too heaven-defying. Even for a person like him who has a godhead, chakra can be said to be inexhaustible. Even a small Snow Lotus can replenish his chakra in a small area, and carry out internal body. The exclusion of impurities is simply heaven-defying level of baby. After opening his eyes, Uchiha Qiye suddenly smelled a strange smell, that is, a stinky smell. He glanced at his body, because the impurities that were excreted were all on the surface of his skin, and that layer of black stuff smelled. There's simply no way to smell it. Uchiha Qiye felt that he was careless, because he thought that the kingdom of water left him out of good intentions. After tasting the deliciousness of the Snow Lotus, he would let his guard down. Who knew that he still kept such a hand? He lay on the bed and slowly opened his eyes, recalling everything Terumi May had to do, what this woman wanted. Thinking back now, the maid named Lena actually said such a strong hint. Fortunately, she had no need for this at all, otherwise she might have been caught in the gentle net. So Uchiha Qiye stood up and went to the bathroom. The warm water washed down and washed away all the dirt on his skin, and his body and mind changed to a clean feeling. What he saw actually made him feel a chill down his spine. The land of water, Terumi May, is really omnipotent. It turned out that the three maids were sitting down in several corners of their own room, and they were using the listening technique to hear all the sounds of Uchiha Qiye. If they could hear them naturally, they would be able to describe the scene in front of them, which had the same effect as monitoring. Yes, Uchiha Qiye knew a very important reason without hesitation, and that is that they especially want to keep their own talents who can serve the country of water. Back in his room, after Uchiha Qiye lay down, just as he was about to fall asleep, his eternal eye actually started working automatically. Chapter 282 Are you afraid of wealth, fame, fortune and status? Chapter 282 Are you afraid of wealth, fame, fortune and status? So we woven such a magnificent palace for him, and gave him beauties for him to enjoy at will, in order to be able to use these wealth to keep him. But what kind of person is Uchiha Qiye? Of course, these things will not be tempting, but only add to the laughing stock. But if he couldn't keep it, he would definitely kill him quickly, which is why the Land of Water wanted to send out the strongest combat power and wanted to fight him. Terumi Mei is indeed a good chess move, but if Uchiha Qiye alone could single out all the masters, Terumi Mei would have sent it directly and let Uchiha Qiye enjoy it, turning himself into an ally of Uchiha Qiye. The move is simply a no-loss business. A smile gradually appeared on Uchiha Qiye's face, thinking in his heart, it really is the forbearance of the Land of Water. His mind is so meticulous, his calculations are so transparent, he is really a woman who doesn't let men. He is indeed taller than those rough men, isn't he? 1.5 minutes. After figuring out all these joints, Uchiha Qiye sighed slightly. If he didn't have a godhead, he was just an extremely powerful ninja. Maybe he was really caught in the gentle net of Terumi Mei and couldn't extricate himself. But at this moment Uchiha Qiye, all he wants is to pretend to be a force, to be able to get out quickly, after the harvest is over, go to the next stop to continue the harvest. This is the point. No matter what national interests he wants, he only wants the interests of the whole world. Thinking of this, Uchiha Qiye was relieved, and after a while, a water-style power barrier directly wrapped his entire bedroom, and those monitoring became useless. Deeply, Uchiha Qiye closed his eyes, waiting for tomorrow to come. And after this move, the maids who had been using listening skills outside suddenly became confused, because there was no sound or echo. Could there be any problem with their listening skills? The two maids glanced at Lena with strange eyes, and although Lena only frowned, she raised her hand and made a booing gesture. She knew in her heart that the other party must have set up a barrier, and Shenzan obviously found that she was being monitored, so she didn't want to be disturbed. After Lena made a gesture, a few people backed out, and it was already late at night when they came outside. Lena said to the two women next to her, don't make any noise, and don't monitor him anymore. We have been discovered by the Battle of Gods. You just need to pretend that nothing happened, and go back. When they heard that they had been discovered by Shenzan, the two of them were a little surprised, but they understood in an instant. Everyone saw that battle, and Shenzan's strength was amazing, and in front of him surveillance really has a good money appearance of playing a big knife in front of Guangdong, so it is not a big surprise to be discovered. So the two nodded. Yes, we'll go back now. 35 After the two went back, Lena of course started to act alone, and these things were also explained to her by Terumi Mei. The first is lure, which makes Shenzan feel some inexhaustible wealth for him to use, and the second is the temptation of beauty, whether it is wealth, or the beauty of the country of water. Advertisement Chapter 283 The end of the most high-end surveillance and the most failure. Chapter 283 The end of the most high-end surveillance and the most failure. You can give it to him, give him as much as you want, and finally there is the magic weapon, that is, Snow Lotus, this extremely precious thing, the country of water can offer him every year. It can be said that a high-level ninja, a man with desire, and everything he wants, Terumi Mei of the Land of Water will give him all. It depends on whether the gods are willing to take the bait. As long as he takes the bait, the matter will be much easier to handle. As long as his hands and feet are tied with wealth and fame, then Shenzhen will become the most loyal and brave lackey in the country of water, and become a servant of the country of water. Terumi Mei is imagining the possibility of 823 happening in her own palace. She has grown up so much, she has seen all the changes in the ninja world, and she has seen all kinds of masters and geniuses, but the only one is the war of gods. It's the guy who makes her feel the most. Inside the palace, the lights were still bright. She didn't even lie down, but sat on top of herself, looking at the palace of the gods, looking forward to what kind of result. At this moment, Terumi Mei's door was knocked by someone outside. The sound and rhythm of the knocking were all secret words, and you didn't need to register to know who it was. As soon as she heard this voice, Terumi Mei knew that this person was Lena, the woman who was on a mission to monitor the battle of the gods. Terumi Mei raised her eyes and said in the direction of the door, "Come in." With a creak, the door opened, and it really was Lena. At this time, Lena was wearing a black ninja uniform, wrapped tightly, and she didn't want to be seen here at all. Moreover, there is a secret passage in the palace, and only those who perform special tasks like Lena may know this secret passage. Advertisement Lena stepped forward, took off her hat, and said to Terumi Mei, "Kinnanen is fine." Terumi Mei glanced at Lena and asked her, "What's the matter? You didn't monitor him in the middle of the night, why did you come back?" Lena said, "Report to Shinobi, God War has discovered my BECJ surveillance, and protected himself with a water-style barrier, 99. But how did the Battle of Gods directly identify it? Or is this person extremely vigilant, and if there is any trouble, he will block himself?" So she raised her hand and said, "No matter what the reason is, I will no longer monitor him in the future. You only need to have daily contact with him within these 3 days. A full report will suffice. There is only the surging of chakra, and you can completely know any movement of a person just by standing in your own position through chakra's voice recognition. According to reason, no one can find it at all. Terumi Mei is unknown, but her plan to monitor has failed. Because even if it is blood wheel eye inspection, it is useless to be able to see the direction of chakra, because it is impossible to judge the source, and it is impossible to confirm that these chakras are for monitoring. What Terumi Mei is afraid of is to frighten the snake, but it doesn't make sense at all. The monitoring of their country of water is the most high-end ninja in the world. Seeing that something was wrong with her, Terumi Mei asked, Rina, did your seduction plan also fail? Lena was a little embarrassed, because in the land of water, her appearance was comparable to Terumi Mei. Lena nodded and frowned slightly. Chapter 284 Any skills are useless in the face of absolute power. Chapter 284 Any skills are useless in the face of absolute power. It can be said that almost all men will salivate when they see Lena, and she has never failed to seduce any man. So Lena nodded and said, yes, that god war is like a piece of wood, no matter how I seduce him, it will not be moved at all. This can make Terumi Mei a little surprised. I have seen a man who is not rich, but I have never seen a man who is not lustful. Is it really so special? But after thinking about it, if this god war is extremely vigilant, then it is naturally impossible to directly submit to a woman who is directly sent to the door. If you really just gave in, it wouldn't be interesting, and Terumi Mei felt that everything had become boring. So Terumi Mei smiled slightly and said, it doesn't matter, I also expected that he would not be so easy to just get drunk in your gentle village. By the way, has he used Shuilian? As soon as they heard Shuilian, Lena's eyes became bright, because at that time they were monitoring the battle of the gods and knew his every move and how he was feeling. Lena said, he has used Shuilian, and he thinks Shuilian is a treasure, and he likes it very much. Terumi Mei finally caught what Shenzhen cares about and likes, and if that's the case, it must satisfy him. So Terumi Mei said, that's very good, the special product of our country of water is Snow Lotus. Starting from tomorrow, if you give him one every day, you must give him all the sweetness. Although there is no shortage of Snow Lotus in the country of water, there are only a dozen or so per year. Except for one of the contestants, Terumi Mei will use it herself, and it will also be used for rewards to senior officials of the frontier. Those large-scale ninja worlds in other countries also pay a lot of money. Buy. Advertisement. Although there are more than 10, but there are not a few left every year, so it is still an extremely precious thing. Later, it was given to Shenzhen. This sincerity is simply more expensive than gold. Lena immediately said after hearing Terumi Mei's order, okay, I will definitely get it done. After explaining all this, Lena also withdrew. Then, Terumi Mei let out a sigh. For so long, she had never been able to meet a rival, because the Kingdom of Water was able to go head-to-head with the leading Kingdom of Fire in terms of hard power, and was not inferior to the Kingdom of Fire in terms of soft power. And the Battle of Gods has almost represented absolute power. The Battle of the Gods just used some very simple things to be able to clearly arrange the Taudi no slashing. Although both sides did not try their best, they just pointed it out, but the discerning person can see that if there is no major accident, Taudi Zebuji is definitely not an opponent of the Battle of Gods. Even if the 7 people of the ninja swords go together, it is difficult to threaten the Battle of Gods. Difficult. Conquering such talents is really difficult. Terumi Mei's diplomatic skills are first class, the so-called long-sleeve man dance, wandering between countries, balancing relations, seeking good luck and avoiding evil, is definitely a hero in women's middle school. Especially seeing the few moments when Shen Zan and Taudi Zebujan fought against each other, the strength of the two people can already be judged. Suddenly, Terumi Mei remembered a sentence, that is, in the face of absolute power, any skill is superfluous. But she encountered such a big difficulty for the first time when she encountered a war of gods that had no family, no faction, or even no country distinction. Chapter 285 How the Angry Terumi Mei Rebuked the Domestic Dog. Chapter 285 How the Angry Terumi Mei Rebuked the Domestic Dog. But this also provokes Terumi Mei's desire to conquer. If such a talent is obtained, then the entire ninja world will be in Terumi Mei's hands. At this time, Moody Zabuza walked out from the side, and there were only 2 people in the entire palace, Terumi Mei and Taudi Zabuza. Daodi Zai Buzan asked, my ninja sword 7 people have already arrived, 823. I don't think there is any need to keep this battle of gods, he gave me an intuition. This person is extremely arrogant, sooner or later it will become a serious trouble for the confidant, it is better to kill him directly. Terumi Mei has always had a good temper. When she heard Taudi Zebujan say such words, she gave him a cold look, are you sure that your 7 ninja swordsmen will definitely kill you in one hit? At this time, Taudi Zebuju has not yet grasped all the strengths of Shenzhen, but he is really not sure that his organization can kill Shenzhen in seconds, and even dare not say that he can completely fight against it, because Shenzhen is simply like a mystery, it is impossible to figure out how his depth is. So Taudi Zebuju shook his head in embarrassment, no way, 35. Terumi Mei glanced at Taudi and refrained from slashing, then snorted, when the time comes, your ninja swordsman 7 people will be destroyed by others, and then Shen Zan will really hate the country of water, how can you advise me on such a loss-making business? You, stupid. Hearing Terumi Mei's criticism, Momochi held a sigh of relief in his heart, and was very surprised, because Terumi Mei has always been kind to him, and even admired him, but since this battle of gods appeared, Terumi Mei's attention the point is all on this man, and even his attitude towards him has changed a lot. A rush of jealousy slowly drifted away, however, as a seasoned Jonin, he would definitely not show such an ignorant side, so he could only nod and say, yes, the subordinate is reckless. 99. After he finished speaking, he slowly returned to his own position. Terumi Mei sighed, shook his head and said, you will have a duel in 3 days, so prepare well, your ninja swordsmen must be adjusted to their peak state, and give a lasting impression of the battle of gods. Taudi Zabuzon raised his head and looked at Terumi Mei with some deep eyes, such a beautiful and moving woman, the woman he really misses. Taudi Zabuzao has never made a fool of Terumi Mei, let alone let this woman down, so it's still a shame to lose the battle of gods in front of Terumi Mei tonight. Therefore, Taudi, who wanted to quickly regain his face, came up with this stupid idea and directly wanted to kill the battle of gods. Now he has finally calmed down after being reprimanded by Terumi Mei. Since he can directly kill Shinigami, why should he come in secret? He adjusted his team to the best state in 3 days. If the head of the battle of gods asks for credit, then Terumi Mei will definitely look at him even more. After such a thing, it is the right way to truly win the heart of Terumi Mei. So Dao Di Zai Buzan finally corrected his attitude, so he made up his mind to adjust his state in a short period of time. Terumi Mei glanced at him and said, "Rest early, you don't need to perform any official duties these 3 days, just train your team well." Chapter 286 What does the ultimate combination of water style and fire style look like? Chapter 286 What does the ultimate combination of water style and fire style look like? Taudi nodded again and said, "Yes." So the man slowly retreated, there was no hatred and hesitation in his eyes, and there was only firm belief. After the man went out, Terumi Mei still had 2 candidates left in his heart, because the 3 of them had to fight against the battle of gods, and there were 2 nirvanas of the land of water after Momochi no Slash. One is Master Terumi Mei, who has retired for many years, Grandmaster Water Style Profound Truth 14 and a teacher who perfectly combines water style and fire style. Bola, this man named Bola has some extremely pervert talents, so on the profound meaning of ninjutsu, he is extremely advanced, and only went for a tour after teaching Terumi Mei. He is a character like a wild crane, but he said that as long as Terumi Mei is in need, or the country of water is in danger, he will rush over to help Terumi Mei as soon as possible, so now is the time. Terumi Mei has a token left by Bo in his hand. As long as he burst it with chakra, Boluo can know it instantly. Terumi Mei took out the elemental body composed of chakra of water and chakra of fire. This is a wonder of nature. Chakra, which was originally restrained from each other, can coexist peacefully. This is the miracle of Bola. And Terumi Mei, who has the same ability, only needs to burst it, so that Bola who is far away can know that no matter how far Bola is, he can come in the shortest time. Terumi Mei's simple knot print is followed by a mixture of water style and fire style, which she calls lava style. Advertisement and lava style is completely higher than water style and fire style, because it has obtained the essence of water style and fire style at the same time. Because Terumi Mei has some heights that no one else can reach, that is the boundary of blood sacrifice. After getting the true biography of Bola, she herself raised the mixed elements of water fire style to the realm of lava style, so her strength is also extremely high, powerful. Terumi Mei felt a little lonely, so she got off the throne, walked to the windowsill, and looked at a tall building in the east of the land of water, which was the image of Bola. And this teacher named Bola is well informed. Lava style hit Boluo's token all at once, and the token was blown apart with a bang. Terumi Mei knew that the signal must have reached Bola, and Bola would definitely arrive within a day. As the teacher of Shadow Ninja Terumi Mei, of course not under the jurisdiction of any department, but it is higher than each department. Lava style is radiant, even in this brightly lit palace, it still shines with strong light, and the whole palace is warmed up because of this little bit of lava style. Bola is indifferent by nature, and he is used to it. He has no intention of disputes and killings between countries at all. If it is to take advantage of others, he will never do it. It will only appear when defending the country of water. This man is 40 years old and is in his prime. He has helped the country of water fight again and again. He has a very high reputation in the country of water, and his strength is also at the top level, so the people love this man called Bola. Man. Terumi Mei muttered in her heart, "Teacher, I hope you can help me overcome this battle of gods, which is so important to the country of water." Chapter 287 The National Teacher Level Character Who Sees the Dragon. Chapter 287 The National Teacher Level Character Who Sees the Dragon. The mysterious war of gods may be able to see more clues in the eyes of the teacher, so that Terumi Mei understands the battle of gods better. Apart from the 7 ninja swordsmen who will never slay Taudi and Bola, who sees no end to the dragon, the last one is the real housekeeping skill of the water kingdom. That is the tailed beast of the water country, 3 tails, whose Jinchuriki name is Yuan Ye Lin. This is a weapon equivalent to a nuclear explosion, and it is also the top combat power of the water country. These 3 people take turns to fight the battle of gods, which will definitely make him lose. Within 3 days, eat delicious food and use beautiful women to serve the battle of God, and then use 3 secret weapons to make the battle of God suffer. It is absolutely possible to make Shen Zan obediently surrender and become her servant under the skirt. After thinking about his plan, Terumi Mei was relieved, so he returned to his bedroom and began to rest. The whole bustling country of water, after the end of a day of hustle and bustle, finally entered the calm again. The moon became softer and softer, she caressed everyone's cheeks, comforting the residents of this land. The next day, the sky is clear for thousands of miles. Of course, the clear sky is also divided into countries. For a legendary fog city like the land of water, it is clear that the visibility reaches 100 meters. Advertisement After getting up, Uchiha Qiye saw a table of sumptuous delicacies after a simple wash. Such delicious food is not because he can't eat it, but he has never been served like this until now. The smell of the fragrant food made Uchiha Qiye move his index finger. Most of them are special products of the land of water. In the whole ninja world, eating in the land of water is well deserved, because the seafood of the land of water is first class, the existence of one. There are some inconspicuous agates inlaid on the clothes, but Uchiha Qiye can clearly feel a faint chakra emanating from the agates, so this must be something imported from the land of the earth. I didn't expect to wear it for Uchiha Qiye like this. It seems that this Terumi Mei is really caring for him. The mineral deposits of the land of the earth are world famous, and these agates are connected together, so a simple piece of clothing, if placed outside, is a precious treasure. After putting on the clothes, I suddenly felt that the material of the clothes was very comfortable. Immediately afterward, 3 maids came up to change clothes for Uchiha Qiye. The latter felt a little embarrassed, but because of the work of these women, they just let them go, and they didn't let go of their monitoring behavior last night. Go in the heart. Rich, famous, food, sleep, as long as he is in this place, he has everything, and he easily achieves the dream that all men want. Everyone is doing it for the sake of having a good meal, so don't make it difficult for anyone, right? Uchiha Qiye thought to himself, this method, even if Terumi Mei doesn't know ninjutsu at all, it is enough to be a ninja, and he knows how to make diplomacy. After sitting down, the 3 maids served meals separately and served Uchiha Qiye like an uncle. This kind of treatment has never been done before. Chapter 288 I lied to you sincerely. Chapter 288 I lied to you sincerely. After the meal, the other 2 maids withdrew, and only Lena stayed. Today's Lena passed on a blue and white dress with some light makeup on her face, which gave a fragrant and delicate feeling. The figure is what you want, and Terumi Mei's beauty is not much better than Terumi Mei. Maybe Uchiha Qiye was tired last night and didn't take a close look at this woman at all. Now that she has been in contact with her for so long, she feels that she has a certain charm. Lena said 823, I was a little offended last night, and I asked Lord Shenzhen to atone for it. When Uchiha Qiye said this, she didn't realize what offended her for a while. But seeing Lena, such a beautiful and lovely woman, kneeling in front of her with a plop, who can stand it? So he directly lifted her up and said, get up quickly, what are you talking about directly, what did you do to offend me? Lena slowly stood up after hearing what he said, and because Uchiha Qiye had to help her, BECJ. Even if there was physical contact, there would be a subtle distance between the two psychologically, proximity. So Lena said, because last night when you were asleep, some of our maids secretly used listening skills on you. 35. When Uchiha Qiye heard this, even he was very surprised, because he was still wondering why these people wanted to monitor him. Advertisement to be more precise, why is Terumi Mei monitoring him, what kind of medicine are these people selling in the gourd? However, Lena said it all of a sudden, which made Uchiha Qiye unbelievable. So the cosmic wave Qiye said, this, do you have it? I have to say, this is really a master. Uchiha Qiye nodded and said, if that's the case, I can't hide it, I did feel it yesterday, but I used the water-style barrier to isolate your surveillance. As soon as she heard Shenzhen said that she would not blame them, Lena became happy. In that case, of course Uchiha Qiye would directly ask, did Terumi Mei ask you to do this? Because Lena's words were really watertight, she not only euphemistically admitted to Uchiha Qiye that Terumi Mei had asked her to do this, but also did not name her, and asked Uchiha Qiye not to ask any more questions. Finally, I will show my position and mentality, and I will only follow Uchiha Kai's lead in the future. Lena's almond eyes glanced at Uchiha Qiye timidly, and she whispered, as a slave, I can only use it to complete the tasks of the superior, but I was given to Mr. Shenzhen, and I will be yours from now on. In this case, I should be more loyal to you, but I did not betray the old master, Lena can only say here. 35. Lena nodded and responded, yes, we have, and please make atonement, we won't do this for a while. As he spoke, he sat on the dragon chair and continued, and I also know that you must be ordered by others, and I will not blame you at all. 99. When Uchiha Qiye heard what Lena said, he actually had a kind of appreciation from the bottom of his heart. For a moment, he couldn't tell whether this Lena was coaxing him or surrendering. Chapter 289 My gods will fight in Sifong. Chapter 289 My gods will fight in Sifong. Thank you master for no more blaming. Uchiha Qiye didn't get used to this name, but since she likes it, she should call it that. Uchiha Qiye said, I can honestly tell you that I will stay here for 3 days at most. After 3 days, I will continue to roam the world after the duel with the people of the land of water. If I stay in the land of water, it is almost impossible. 5. Lena heard this, but it was a major piece of information. Sure enough, Shenzhen didn't want to stay here, but was determined to stay in all directions. So Lena blinked a pair of innocent almond eyes and said, why, is the master going to abandon me? The land of water is beautiful, and the people are beautiful, why doesn't Shenzhen want to stay? Uchiha Qiye shrugged his shoulders and said, I have no sect and no belief in any country. This time I came to the land of water just to have a tour, and by the way to understand what a noble thing Snow Lotus is. If I stay here for a long time, I will definitely with nostalgia, I am accustomed to being a home from all over the world, so I will not stay here for long. Lena finally made up his mind after listening, and this information must be reported to Terumi Mei. So he made a look of pity, so it's so. While talking, he also made an expression like he was about to cry, but Lena's acting was very delicate, and it would never be over, as long as God War Sama saw that he was wronged. Okay, Lena knows, then I will take good care of you these 3 days. Advertisement after speaking, he shed a tear just right, turned around and left the bedroom. Seeing this scene, Uchiha Qiye was a little puzzled, but at the same time, he secretly good guy, he almost believed it himself. Of course, he knew that Terumi Mei would do everything possible to keep him, but he didn't expect that he could do anything and play anything. Suddenly, Uchiha Qiye definitely Terumi Mei is not a terrible woman, but a little cute in mind. After pondering these key points, Uchiha Qiye certainly will not forget the real original intention of his coming to the Land of Water, which is to investigate and destroy the sealing ceremony left by Mihong in the Land of Water. After he closed his eyes, he searched for a location in the south of the Land of Water, and sure enough, the sealing ceremony still stayed there, and it was very well concealed. For flowers, if it is placed in the previous Uchiha Qiye, it will definitely not be found. Now, with the blessing of the Eternal Eye, it can penetrate all the truth in the world. Even if it is thousands of miles away, it can clearly see anyone and everything in the distance. This is the Eternal Eye, powerful enough to pervert. So Uchiha Qiye walked out of the bedroom, first to feel the customs, but now that he is very famous, the villagers want to take pictures with him and sign autographs wherever he goes. And most of them are young women. Uchiha Qiye can cause a small-scale sensation wherever he goes. This kind of life is not what he pursues. After dealing with this, Uchiha Qiye walked to a secluded place and put on a mask and hat for himself, so that he would not be recognized. After coming out again, the crowd returned to calm, and he slowly walked south, getting closer and closer to the southern highland. Chapter 290 Extremely Secret. Where did that evil breath come from? Chapter 290 Extremely Secret. Where did that evil breath come from? The Land of Water is really big. In fact, Uchiha Qiye can reach it in a very short time, but it is understandable to want to see more of such a beautiful place. The architecture of the whole water country can be called a master-level technique. Every building group and villa are as exquisite and unique as a small castle. The developed country of fire does not have such a picturesque realm at all. Uchiha Qiye walked all the way. In addition to feasting his eyes, he was still quietly feeling the flow of chakra energy, and found that after coming out of his bedroom, chakra felt more and more wrong. One after another, chakras with abnormal energy flow are emerging in a complicated way, but no one can detect it except those who have the eyes of eternity. Even the most skilled ninjas can only detect the concentration of chakra, different from density. They can only attribute it to geographical location and air circulation, and they never imagined that there is a deep secret hidden in it. The Eye of Eternity is visible to the naked eye and clearly sees the direction in which the chakra flows and how it becomes disordered. Uchiha Qiye took a look along the flow of chakra. The direction of the complicated chakra flow is exactly the relic of the magic circle left by Mihong. No one could recognize Uchiha Qiye, who was wearing a black trench coat and a black mask. In the end, the cosmic wave Qiye walked to the southern highlands of the Land of Water. He looked back and saw that he had completely left the village and went south. At one point, it is about to go out of the borders of the water country. These breaths can't deceive people at all. These breaths are pitch black at first sight, proving that people who have lived here for a long time are naturally very evil, and there is no one other than Mihong. After all, the country of water is completely self-sufficient in things like aquatic products, and there is no need to sell it to other countries. Snow lotus alone is enough to make the country of water rich for more than 100 years. And these breaths can't represent any power at all, but the traces left by the original owner. Since having the Eternal Eye, Uchiha Qiye has finally realized a problem, that is, what is human nature and what is the human heart, under your own breath. Uchiha Qiye entered the lighthouse and looked at 2.9 to the dark part of the corridor. Although he has the eyes of eternity, everything in front of him can be like daytime, but he is still used to picking up a lamp. After entering the lighthouse, it has been in disrepair for a long time, because the country of water has given up marine transportation for many years, and the reason is very simple, that is, it is not making money, and there are fewer and fewer exchanges in Haiti between trading countries. After flying over, Uchiha saw a lighthouse in the southern highlands. This lighthouse is a lighthouse used for navigation by marine ships in the country of water, and this lighthouse is a secret place. At this time Uchiha Qiye was holding a lamp in his hand. Looking at the old lamp next to it, I picked it up and lit the wick with chakra, and a yellow light instantly lit up, exuding a damp smell. So Uchiha Qiye flew directly over, and the chakra airflow became more complicated and chaotic, with an evil aura.